Had 2 bad years, lots of injuries, but 2023 is my year.
I was 1 point short last year, and there's no way I'm letting Brayden win a 6.
Neither rider wants to give it up.
When we're almost touching the air, that's when I'm like, all right, come on, show a little more maturity.
Last year, I was on track to win it.
Down goes Loud.
For a point.
Had 2 bad years, lots of injuries.
Way I'm letting Brayden win a 6.
Neither rider wants to give it up.
When we're almost touching the air, that's when I'm like, all right, come on, show a little more maturity.
Last year, I was on track to win it. I threw it away with the crash. Now this is my year to win my first Supercross championship.
Australia is a long ways for me to come to not win. I'm not here to play around.
These guys can say what they want. I've won the past 5 for a reason, and I didn't travel all the way from the USA to not win a 6th. To not win a 6th. To not win a 6th.
Welcome to round 1 of the Fox Australian Supercross Championship, where of course it's
not win a
Adelaide, the
6th.
City of Churches, and the iconic Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Hello everyone, I'm Lee Hogan alongside former Supercross superstar Danny Ham. Now Danny, we have got tight, intense racing here. We're in for one heck of a night.
This place drums up a lot of memories for us. We have been there, we've experienced the excitement, the pressure that comes with indoor racing. We have record number riders here that have to qualify through for just 10 gates tonight. So get set for some exciting stuff.
Now, we've got 4 categories, 4 classes. The Premier SX1 class, SX2, the all-new and exciting SX3 class, which you're going to tell us about in a second, and the Chad Reed CR22 85cc Cup.
Yep, Brayden and Anstey back to defend their championship from last year in SX1, SX2. Plenty of international riders and a lot of local riders nipping at their heels who definitely put up a massive battle. SX3, 14 to 15-year-old juniors against the 16, 17-year-old seniors. We've seen it in motocross. This is the most exciting class we've seen all year. Expect big things tonight. And then, of course, the 85s have finally returned to Supercross. They get to experience the big stage, the lights, the excitement, the energy that you get in an arena like this and start to get that skill set underway for these little guys.
All right, well, can't wait to get the action underway. It's time now to head down to the 3rd member of our commentary team, Cam Williams, who's with the man himself, Chad Reed.
Gentlemen, super excited to be here with the man himself, Chad Reed. We're back in Adelaide. Nice synergy here with Leo and Lee Hogan. Your first serious senior podium, I should say, my apologies, here in Adelaide.
Yeah, no, so many firsts here in Adelaide, so I'm excited to be here. It's been a long time. First time racing here when I was 12 years old, first time going professional at 16, and we're seeing a sold-out crowd here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre tonight. So just, yeah, stoked to be here, excited to see what the kids bring, what I've seen in practice. I think everyone's going to be pretty excited.
Another first in terms of that for you and this series, the CR22 85 Cup. That's pretty cool too, huh?
Yeah, no, it's something that I got to do as a kid, and it's, when you're sitting side by side with James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael and guys like that, it's something that you can claim that they never got to do. And so I'm really proud to have my name on something that was really cool, and I think that contributed to my success at Supercross. So hopefully these kids have that same feeling 20 years from now, and it makes me real proud.
Now, the track in here, it's a smaller, tighter venue, so we're going to see some really close, tight racing here, aren't we?
Man, it's bringing back some childhood memories, and, 4 years retired, I honestly don't get that urge to race anymore, and I'm a little jealous that I didn't bring the boots and the helmet because it looks fun out there.
In terms of this track, do you think it's going to get a little bit rough when we're going to chop up and see some ruts?
So early on today, we've seen it getting really, really ruddy and beat up. But I think the guys, Brooksy and his team, have done a very good job. I think we're going to have a great racetrack. I think it's going to hold up, and let's go racing.
Fantastic. Danny and Lee, you heard it from the man himself. Let's go racing.
Well, it's an honour to have Chad Reed back here in Australia. Let's take a look at the animated track map, Danny Ham.
So straight out of the first turn into the first combo section, the guys tripling on and then getting out of there. Little wall jump here instead of the double before they make this left and across into these whoops. And the big thing tonight here is just how tight it is. A lot of these guys have not experienced racing indoors. Over the triple, around the last couple of turns, and then into the finish line jump, and that will set them down a complete lap here. And Lee, how tight it is. They're racing, the way they've got to race this, very, very different to what they're used to.
But a big set of whoops, Danny. I'm loving the whoops that they've got here. Like you said, super tight, but that makes for some very aggressive racing, that's for sure.
So straight up into the first of our heats. There is 3 heats in each of these classes. The top 2 riders from each heat will go directly to the final. The next 3 riders in these heats will go to the last chance qualifier, where we'll take 4 to fill up our 10-gate grid as we are set to get the first race of tonight underway. The SX2 heat number 1. Who is going to get the whole shot?
Well, great jump out of the gate by Nathan Crawford, but he's been pushed wide by, it looks like Kingsford, I believe. And already Jace Cosford there. He was super fast in practice. So impressed with the Queenslander.
So Kingsford was one of the guys that wasn't probably in the fastest heat. However, he was the quickest in his particular heat. So expect big things out of him. During the day, we saw 22 second lap times. These guys, the first lap around, have just knocked down a 24. Of course, the track with more ruts and more lines on option after a few bikes have been around. Right now, fresh track, but that excitement is all back there, second, third, and fourth, because if you're not secondly, you have another race before that final.
I'm loving the finesse and the body movement from Ryder Kingsford that we're seeing out at the head of the pack. Jace Cosford has just slotted himself up into second place. They're looking very pretty at the head of the pack. Is Kingsford on the Yamaha machine.
Keep an eye on the background here as much as you can, because we will see who is in that all-important second place. That's the real challenge and the real focus here. Is Kingsford, a massive overjump lead.
And almost down. That front wheel nearly washed out. He was lucky to keep it on 2 wheels, but a hard charge coming from Cosford.
Not only that, Blake Fox in the background as well is moving up a couple of spots. So there is 2 different angles to look at this. You need to be second to get through to the final. If you're not 5th, then you are out for the night, and Fox just moved himself up into 5th as well. So he sits there with a chance to get to that LCQ.
And have a look at how quick these races are going to be over. Already the last lap board has gone up, but a rider that we expect to see up there in the top 5, I was going to say Noah Ferguson, is just leapfrogged past Blake Fox and taken that 5th place.
How is the intensity here from Cosford there in second, but it's not going to be enough as we come around. Get the checkered flag for the first time. It was Kingsford. He does not even know he hit that tough log lead.
He has no clue. It's not until he watches the replay, probably when he gets back home to the comfort of his own lounge room, that he's going to realise how lucky he was that the tough blocks here at Adelaide Entertainment Centre are made of cardboard and not the old school ones that we had. Let's take a look at SX2 Championship results. Ryder Kingsford there in first place, Jace Cosford second, Nathan Crawford in third place, and Noah Ferguson back there in 4th.
And Norris will round out the 5, so they will be the riders that go through to LCQ. Guys packing it up and heading home already. Blake Fox, Brock Flynn, and Zane McIntosh. Unfortunate for them, but that is indoor racing. Lee, you and I have been there many a time where even on your best night, you don't make it through.
It's a high contact sport, that is for sure. Cannot wait to see what we have in store for the rest of the night. Now, I'm scanning my memories back to our days of being here in the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, and it's one of the smaller of the 4 that we got to race. We got to race Melbourne Indoor here in Adelaide, Brisbane, Boondall, and, of course, Sydney Entertainment Centre. You know what? There's probably a metre or two in it here or there. Essentially, what you're seeing is smaller than a BMX track, really. So how hard is it for these guys out here?
It is tiny out on the track, and it's a different style of riding. You do need to be aggressive. Now, we didn't see it just then, but I can promise you in the races coming up, there is going to be more than one time that we see some contact between these riders.
Absolutely. Coming up in the next heat, we have got our reigning champion from last year, the 2022 Fox Australian Supercross champion in the SX2 class, Max Anstey. Now, he was very, very fast in practice and time qualifying, but he wasn't the fastest.
No, he wasn't the fastest. Now, we saw it in practice. He was definitely the fastest by quite a long way as well. However, come the qualifying time, the rest of the boys stepped up. The top 13 riders were separated by 0.9 of a second. 13 riders. There was only 10 gates out there.
Super impressive from Reed Taylor also in time qualifying, but it was all about Reese Budd, wasn't it?
As we take a quick look at the replay from the first race, and this is the most important part right here, getting out of this gate and into the first turn. Watch for the 60 machine of Flynn get boxed out there and goes down. Now, if you do that, that almost guarantees yourself to a early night finish.
Now, it really was a case of track position for Ryder Kingsford there, because Crawford got out equally as good into the first turn, but with his start straight so short, that's you really need to be up the inside. All right, we've got drop of the gate here, and what a launch out of the gate for Anstey on board the HRC Honda machine. A bump there for Reed Taylor.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, got himself a great start, but that small mistake in the first turn, just bad positioning. Like you said, Lee, you've got to be in the right position through that first turn, and that has put him back a couple of places. He's back there in fourth at the moment, so still okay for an LCQ spot, but it is Anstey, the reigning champ, that is out in the lead, just in front of Thompson.
Now, Cole Thompson, the Serco Yamaha rider out of Canada, managed to get second in the championship. So in effect here, we're seeing 1 and 2 from the championship from last year.
All important heat races to make it through, and right now Anstey is looking the goods. He is very quick, 22.5 second lap time on our timing display here in the commentary booth, so he has already picked up that pace. Now, two ways of getting through here. Does he skip through? He certainly does. The other way to get through these groups is to double and then triple the rest of the way through.
You see a rider that's obviously come unstuck and then put a lap down already. Now, with riders, doing lap times around that 22-second mark, it's a blink of an eye and you'll get lapped. Quite often in these main events, you have riders that don't even do anything wrong and they're getting put down a lap or two. Now, yellow flags waving here. Can't see a rider that's gone down.
Yeah, that's the rider you're speaking of. I think he's just got up and going once again. If you look to the side there, lap 4 already, so the last lap forward is out. And it is Anstey in front of Thompson. Atkinson, Taylor is still in there. Haruki Yokoyama, the Japanese rider, sits back there in 5th place. So he's still got a shot at getting through the final just a little bit later. But how is the speed and the absolute dominance at the moment from this guy as he comes around to the finish line for the final time? It will be Max Anstey on the Honda that will take the win of heat number 2.
Amazing job for the Boost Mobile HRC Honda rider, carrying that number 1 plate, our reigning champion, and he has started his night the way that he would have liked to, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the results. Max Anstey in 1st place, Cole Thompson in 2nd, Liam Atkinson 3rd, Reed Taylor in 4th, Haruki Yokoyama rounding out the top 5.
Kobe Wolf, Keane and Goulet are your other riders that unfortunately have put in a big effort tonight, but it's not quite going to be enough right here in Adelaide, but we will see them at other rounds for these riders to be up there once again once those 20 gates are back on offer at the following rounds.
Now, Danny, just want to take a quick little opportunity to have a chat about the track and how much it deteriorated throughout practice. Now, we're going to take this opportunity to head down to Cam Williams, who's got our race winner.
Max Anstey, great way to start your night. You executed the start and really just checked out from there.
Yeah, it's all about the start right now, man. It's tight, intense racing, but had a lot of fun. Get ready and line up for the main event in a little bit.
Some serious heart rate action here as well. You're anaerobic from the time the gate drops, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, no, it's crazy. That's a 5-lap race. It's probably only 2.5 minutes, and your heart rate's through the roof. I can nearly hold my breath for longer than what I'm going around there. But, man, it's pretty intense. Looking forward to a little bit longer race for the main event.
And obviously the Boost Mobile Honda got you off the line pretty nice on that one, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, the number one is treating me well, and you reeve up there. Got to do it for the big boss up there, and come to Australia and put on a show for you guys.
Gentlemen, Max Anstey, he's ready to rumble tonight.
It's funny, Lee, isn't it? The whole thing about it's only, 2.5-minute race and you can almost hold your breath. A lot of these guys are holding their breath for almost the entire race. And both you and I know that 2.5 minutes feels like 5 minutes, no doubt, when it's so intense like that.
It is. You come back in, you're trying to catch your breath, your heart rate's going through the roof, and you're just like, how am I going to be able to make it through the rest of the night? There comes a time where you kind of can get yourself into a bit of a flow here, believe it or not. But I tell you what, coming up in this next heat, Reece Budd, he was our fastest qualifier out of all of the SX2 class. What an amazing job for the young man.
He sits there second from the inside, just next to the 20 machine of Wilson Todd, right off screen. And then it is Robert Waitman from the US. He was very quick as well. Caleb Barham on the 16 machine just outside of him. O'Brien, Rosendich, Tisdale and Collenberg are the 9 riders that line up in this one. You can see the green flag going up, indicating that we are almost set to get this start under the way. The riders will make sure that they are in gear. The 15-second board will go up. Once that turns around, they have 5 seconds before that gate will drop. And I can tell you what, there is some pressure and some tenseness at that point of the start, Lee.
Now, I'm liking the position that Reece Budd has started in. That second gate from the inside has seen a lot of hole shots so far tonight.
Yeah, those first couple of spots are vital to get into, and that shows the importance of getting yourself a good qualifying time early on in the day. And trying to find that momentum, that flow you spoke of, Lee, it's very difficult in these heats when you are battling it out with everyone else to try and find that nice flow. But if you can get out front, get some clean air, clean track in front of you, then you are set to set yourself up for a fantastic race. As that point is sideways, the eyes are locked down on the gate. Who is going to launch out for this one?
Great jump from Wilson Todd up the inside, but around the outside. Oh, and a big bump from Reece Budd, who did not want to lose that position going into turn 1. But Wilson Todd on board the Terra Firma Honda sees himself in a position that he has been many times throughout the 2023 season.
I can promise you, Barham went into that first turn thinking, yep, I've got this one. And unfortunately, just out too wide going into there. So again, as we said, the importance of being down the inside of the start. But this is a good battle for second place at the moment. Wageman, Budd, the 2 fast Yamaha riders. Who will come out at the end of this one straight through to the main event, and who will have to go to the LCQ?
Well, both riders were exceptionally fast during time qualifying. Reece Budd slingshots around the outside. We'll have to wait and see if he can make the pass. Wageman to the inside. Totally different lines through the rhythm section.
43 machine there of O'Brien just coming to a stop in that turn, just getting caught up a little bit. This battle still raging back there in second place. It is vital if you can get through to the final right now to do anything you can, even if that means another blue bike sits there in front of you. A little bump to get yourself through there is absolutely on the cards, as we see Todd into the wood. Once again, a large jump by Budd going into that corner.
Now a tiny little bit of a gap now. Oh, both riders coming together. A nice ambitious little move there from Reece Budd up the inside. On board that Serco Yamaha. California rider Robert Wageman carrying number 69 once again. Goes for the protective move up the inside. He seems to be able to hold that position through there. Now these whoops, what do you elect to do, Danny? Let me ask you the question. This is a big monster set of whoops that, in my opinion, I believe jumping, getting a rhythm technique through there today has been working the best.
Well, it is the win for Wilson Todd, and we'll come back to that in just a moment. Lee, it was Wageman back there in second, and then Budd. So Budd will be the first rider to go through to that LCQ. And it is an interesting point, Lee, as far as those whoops. Wilson Todd, there is our qualifying results. Todd, Wageman, Budd, Barham, O'Brien are your top 5. And I will bring up the point with the whoops. Sorry to get back to it, Lee. But yeah, it was something that both you and I have really focused in a lot during the practice to try and figure out which is the best. And during the practice, it was pretty even. However, we walked the track before we got underway. They have not fixed those whoops up, so there's going to be more and more edges. And I think we're going to start seeing more and more riders jump through them.
Yeah, there was a lot of riders that were either tripling through. There was a bit of wheel tapping going on, which we knew you started back in the 90s. I don't know if they asked permission for you to use that tonight or what, but we'll have to check in on that, Danny. Right, let's go down to Cam with our winner.
Terra Firma Equipment Sales rider, Wilson Todd on the number 20. Cracking start, mate. And once you got out the front, it was every poster winner after that.
Yeah, ripped an awesome start. Honda's hooking up well, so got out of the gate and just made it to the end. Obviously, it's nerve-wracking and pump up, and we only raced for 30 seconds, but you get pumped. So go back and get ready for the main, try and do it again.
The start and gate pick are going to be the two key things in this one, aren't they? 100%.
Yeah, that's it. Just need a Honda and get a whole shot.
Simple as that, mate. Those whoops are breaking down on the far right-hand side. Do you think there's any option to work those whoops anywhere else, or you're going to have to stick with that and just ride it as it comes?
Yeah, you've got to kind of stick to the right just because it's so slippery coming in. If you try and stay left of them, you're turning too tight and you kind of slide out. So for the time being, we're just sticking to the right.
Fantastic. Congratulations on that heat win. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Gentlemen, he's on fire already. Wilson Todd, the number 20 Terra Firma Equipment Sales Machine.
Well, fantastic race win there for Wilson Todd on board the Terra Firma Honda, and he looks set to have himself a good night. We're going to take a look at a replay here, and what a start it was from Wilson Todd out of the inside. Barham around the outside. Like you said, he thought he was coming out smelling like roses, but it wasn't the case.
Wageman was way back as well going into the turn. He just took his time up the inside, got there because he had the inside gates at the start, and then just took his time, threw himself into second, and that's all he had to do. This is not the important race. One, yes, it is to get through to the final, of course, but the main thing is to get to that final, and he's there now, so he is very happy.
And with a good start, it's not just the start. I was really impressed with Wilson Todd. Managed to wheel away from two of the fastest qualifiers. Now, he wasn't super fast in qualifying, and that's a true racer when they come out and do that.
This track is going to change all night long, and I think that might have played into it a little bit there. We aren't seeing the broken down track that we saw earlier on in the qualifying sessions, especially where we see the flagman going through here right now. There was these motocross style 20-meter long ruts that you just don't see in Supercross all the way around there, and I think that helped a lot of the riders pick up those quick times.
Now, Danny, 30-second board up here. We're in the starters' hands. We've got a couple of the big hitters here in the first of our SX1 heats. Matt Moss and Aaron Tanti, they were part of a 5 or 6 rider absolute war that was going on out in practice, and they were within 0.1 of a second, all 5 or 6 of them. So let's see who's got what here in this first heat. That 5-second board is about to go sideways any moment. Matt Moss is notorious for his good starts. Keep your eyes peeled on that 102 Kawasaki.
And so is the number 9 machine of Aaron Tanti. We've seen it so many times. All important start. Who is going to jump out for the first of the whole shots in the SX1? Does Tanti go around the outside, or can he sneak back to the inside? The 57 machine there. Jackson Richardson, he looked to come up to the inside and put the pressure on, but it is Moss, just as you predicted, Lee, that gets himself out to the lead first up.
Beautiful start there for Matt Moss on board the Empire Kawasaki machine. And he has had those whoops dialed today, that is for sure, during practice and qualifying. And I tell you, if he keeps his starts like this, he could be on board for a big night tonight.
It's an interesting thing indoors. You could be the best rider on the day, be the fastest guy out on the track, win all your races or all your qualifying leading up to it. If you don't get yourself a good start, you have put your back against the wall early, and sometimes that could see the end of your night.
Starts are critical, and let me just mention, of course, at an indoor Supercross, it was always the case if you get out in Heat 1 and you would try to get a good start and get a win, because that would sometimes flow on to your second heat win, third heat, you go into your semi-final and you'd get first pick of the grid. Now back then we had 8 positions in the final. Tonight we have got 10 gates down there, so slightly different. But a great little battle erupting here now. We've got Aaron Tanti not too far off the back of Matt Moss.
Now, what are you seeing here with Aaron Tanti's lead? I feel, there's a mistake though. Moss, just a little bit too long on those whoops, and all of a sudden, he's put himself into a position where he could be out of the last chance. There is the spot in front of him right now. He's got some work ahead of him.
Yeah, and let's not forget how short these races are. In the blink of an eye, it is over. We're going to see that last lap board any moment now. So, to get back to your comment, I'm going to say Aaron Tanti is putting the kind of pressure on Matt Moss that he has to try to force a mistake. Now, we'll never know if it was that pressure or if it was just an unforced error. But either way, Aaron Tanti finds himself at the head of the pack, and Matt Moss finds himself right on the cusp, moves up into 4th place.
So he has got a lifeline at the moment. He should be able to finish there in 4th place, put himself through to the LCQ. But that just highlights exactly what we have said from the start of this show. Anything can happen, and right now Aaron Tanti comes around, takes the win in the SX1 heat number 1, and puts himself in the prime position for this final later on tonight.
Well, a fantastic race there for Aaron Tanti on board the CDR Yamaha Monster Energy machine, and someone that I don't think looked quite as comfortable as he would have liked in practice. Come out and do that, that'll be great for his confidence. Let's take a look at our results. Tanti from Jackson Richardson in 2nd place. Luke Zielinski, Matt Moss there in 4th, and Blake Cobbin in 5th place.
Going back through there, Watts, Crawford, Nathan Crawford. Now, he's probably the only rider in the field that's had more experience on an indoor than anyone else. Bennett back there in 8th place too.
There's a couple of Nathan Crawfords here tonight, our factory KTM rider in the 250 class, and this is the Nathan Crawford that we used to race against in the indoors. So, fantastic job for these guys. All right, let's go down to Cam Williams with our race winner once again.
Aaron, what a great way to start your night, mate. The heat race and qualifying through the heat race is vital.
Yeah, like tonight it was very nerve-wracking. You know, you had to get in the top 2 to go straight to the main. So, yeah, when I got off to a good start, I was just settled there in 2nd, just following Mossy, making sure, you know, I was keeping my lines covered, and he made a mistake. So, yeah, just waited the last through and cruised around and ride my own race.
That's what happens when you see something like that. You just stay in your own head, focus on riding forward and not worry about what's gone on in the past, right?
Yeah, 100%, and now it's a big breath off the shoulders. I've got a good gate peak for the main, and, yeah, looking forward to that now.
In terms of this track, 20 laps around here, man, that is a long time on this tight circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, like when you look at it, you know, in motocross we race 30 minutes, and it doesn't seem long when you're around here because it might be only be 10 minutes. Yeah, you're always busy and it takes your breath away.
Fantastic, Aaron. Gentlemen, we saw him in the promo. He is hyper-motivated to win this championship this year, and Aaron Tanti's got it off to a fantastic start.
That is the way that you would like to start your evening, with a win. Congratulations to Aaron Tanti. Good start here, though, from Matt Moss out of the gate.
It was a perfect start for Moss. He knew exactly what he needed to do. Now, Moss does have some experience as well on the indoors, so he is well and truly versed on getting those starts and the importance of it. But keep an eye on Moss as he keeps going through here. It looked like Tanti started to close in, but it was right here at the end of the whoops that we saw a little issue. Just a bounce off that braking bump lead.
A little knife of the front end that he wasn't expecting.
Then around the corners for the final times, it was Tanti that just took his time and started to move forwards, and I'm sure he would have been absolutely pumped to get that first win out of the way. Like he said, it's nerve-wracking going into these heats, knowing that you've only got 2 positions to go straight through. That really plays on your mind.
And that's a berth straight into a final. Anytime you make straight into the main event, you take away that risk of having to sit in the stands and watch the final, because that's not what you get paid for.
Oh, man. Unfortunately, both you and I have been there and done that, Lee. It's not a good feeling. Even Chad Reed earlier on today said exactly the same thing. Didn't qualify for the first night of one of these main events, went and won the second night. It's the nature of the beast here on indoor racing. And I know that a lot of the Americans that turned up here have looked at this track and it's so tight, it's so crazy, but they have gone out there and accepted exactly what's in front of them. gentlemen. They have really brought their A game, and they are stepping it up. Keep your eye on the number 1 machine lead down the inside. That is, of course, Justin Brayton.
He's in that whole shot gate, number 2. How many whole shots have we seen from there? Kyle Webster, though, he looked fantastic in practice as well. Let's keep our eyes on him, but it looked, a couple of riders tagging bars, but up the inside was an awesome start from Justin Brayton, and the Honda boys go 1-2.
Little troubles in the back there for the 32 machine. I think that was Cigliano that just caught up in the first turn. Another rider just tagging him on the way through, so unfortunately for them, their night is looking like it could be over. But impressed right now with the 96 machine of Kyle Webster, sitting back there in second place. That is good to see too. The 11th machine, who has sat out most of the Motocross Championship, Bailey Malkowitz, really starting to find some form.
Well, Bailey Malkowitz suffered a massive injury about a year and a half ago with a crash at Gilman here in South Australia. So a little bit of bittersweet feelings about the state here. Now, he had a knee reconstruction and he had so much time off the bike, but he's back on. And I tell you what, watching him through the woods, there was no jumping. It was just skimming across the top, and those long legs were working, that's for sure.
I got to sit down with him as we were watching some of the early practice, the 85s. And he's saying that you hold second gear everywhere, and probably you'll use that. I was like, will you get to third before that? He's like, I'll make it happen before we get to those whoops. I will make it happen. And he certainly has been one of the fastest riders out there, especially in those whoops.
Justin Brayton is looking clinical at the moment as he flies through those whoops, triple, makes his way towards this triple jump, which has a very steep takeoff ramp. We both commented when we first got to the track and had a little bit of a walk. We're actually walking around with Chad. Chad looked at it this way. Does that look a little bit extra steep or what? These guys making it look no problem whatsoever.
He makes his way through the left-hand turn again. Brayton on lap number 4. He will receive the last lap board as he crosses the line this time around. And I tell you what, coming out here to try and snatch that 6th championship, and with the way he's riding and what we've seen so far already tonight, Lee, this man's going to be hard to beat.
Well, he almost calls this place his second home, doesn't he? He just absolutely loves coming out to Australia. Normally got the family with him, the wife, the kids. Not the case this time, but he is enjoying himself here as he comes around to take the checkered flag and lights the candles. Heat 2 win for Justin Brayton on board the HRC Honda machine.
As the rest of the riders come through to finish off their race, here are our results for the SX1 Heat number 2. Of course, Justin Brayton, your winner. Kyle Webster slots himself straight into that final in second place. Bailey Malkowitz, Liam Jackson and Dylan Wood will all go through to that LCQ. The rest of the riders will say goodbye.
Was impressed there with Bailey Malkowitz back there in third place. Got himself a 22.9 lap time, so still nice and competitive. You have a look at the fastest time from Justin Brayton at 22.6.
He has built up his speed the whole day. He started off a little slow, but certainly built up that speed as he's worked his way through the day. So expect to see more out of him. I'm sure he is going to be one rider that will factor in that LCQ. Let's head down to Cam, who's with our winner.
Justin Brayton, what a way to start your title defence, mate, getting a win in the heat race.
Yeah, the biggest thing was that start. You really got to focus on that first 100 feet of the race. And, yeah, hopefully the track will keep coming around. It's pretty kind of just one line. But I think by the main event, you'll see a lot of guys moving around, trying some different lines, which will make for some good racing.
I think also the triple out of the corner, your seat bounced out of the corner, and just got a bike length. So you get to race forward, then you haven't got to worry about trying to run a wheel to the inside, do you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always nice to get out front. I really like going outside, doing that 3, but like I said, as that berm gets bad outside, the inside starts to come in good. So I think you'll see some guys taking some different lines, and yeah, stoked to be here in Adelaide. Great start to the night.
Fantastic, gentlemen. Justin Brayton, what a way to start that title defence.
Brayton is looking sensational at the moment, and he is going to be the one to beat, no doubt. But there is another guy in the next heat that we're going to see in just a minute who put the pressure on him with lap times earlier on, Lee, that definitely could play a part in this one as we take a look at this replay.
Straight out of the gate, and what a start it was from Justin Brayton on board the HRC Honda machine, and his teammates slotted in right behind. And there we see the difference between skimming across the whoops and getting that rhythm technique going. But I tell you what, when Justin Brayton looks in this kind of form, he's very, very hard to beat. And as we heard him say on the loudspeaker a little earlier in the day, Danny, he commented he grew up in Middle America with these kind of venues. This is what he knows. He's done so much of this stuff.
And it shows with the way he's tackled at this track that has been presented before him, as you see him coming across and taking that checkered flag for his first race of the night. And as we said, he would be absolutely pumped to be starting the final event off with that win earlier on.
All right, so down on the starting line at the moment, SX1 heat number 3. And once again, some big guns down there about to take to this Adelaide track. Dean Wilson, and to the left of him, Luke Cloud, who has had a horror run over the last couple of years with injuries, and we are hoping to see that little bit of fire from him. He was trying a bit too hard in practice and qualifying. A few uncharacteristic mistakes, needs to smooth it out a little bit, but the critical thing here, Danny Ham, we need a good start.
You need a good start, but one good way to look at those mistakes is that he's got them out of the way right now, Lee, and now he has set himself up for the race. Good start will get him out, but wow, what a jump by Dean Wilson. Cloud perfectly positioned, but look up the inside there, Hill. He has moved himself there into fourth, almost looked like he was coming through into second, but how about this, the 30 machine, Joel Whiteman, the privateer, sitting there in second, now relegated back one position.
Well, he made a little bit of a mistake just before the whoops, but I was about to say he was equal whole shot coming out of the first turn, and it wouldn't have surprised me if he had just lent in ever so slightly. It was a little bit polite there to Dean Wilson, but look, I think when you've got the kind of fire in the belly that Wilson has got at the moment, he is on fire tonight.
I like that comment, a little bit polite. I've noticed that, actually, Lee, that the riders are so gentle coming through that first turn. To what I remember anyway, we were all elbows out, bashing into each other, of course. We were just smashing it up, but Dean Wilson, he does lead this one away, 2 seconds in front of anyone else. And he was one of the fastest guys on track earlier on.
Yeah, well, look, I was liking the Instagram post that Dean Wilson popped up where he said, come to Australia, he's been doing a little bit of studying to figure out how to do these Australian indoors, and he put this clip up of him riding around, and then boom, you and Craig Anderson, who get along great these days, but back in the days of indoors in Australian motocross, not so much. So if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen at home, look it up.
It is a bit of a classic clip. How's this battle here in second place between Hill and Cloud? That is the real focus at the moment. Just in the background, look at that. Cloud all over the back wheel of Hill. Hill is so defensive right now. If Cloud can triple and then get over this again, he's going to position himself excellent going into these whoops.
Now, how are they going to tackle the front wheel washout from Luke Cloud?
Vital to get going again. He is dropped back to fourth.
And that peak has dropped down. He's going to have to give it a bit of a whack. I'm wondering how that vision's going to go.
Well, unfortunate for Cloud. We thought there at the moment that it was going to be a massive challenge, but it wasn't to be this time. And we see Wilson extending that lead out ever so slightly. He will come around and greet the checkered flag. A win for Dean Wilson.
Dino is feeling it.
That is a stylish one-legger right there. We have not seen one of them since probably the last time we were in an indoor.
And a 22.1 lap time, the fast of all of our qualifying heats. Let's take a look at the results. Dean Wilson from Josh Hill. Joel Whiteman, great job back there in third. Luke Cloud in fourth, and Robbie Marshall rounding out the top 5.
I just want to point out the effort that Joel Whiteman has done to be in the position he is. He really gets overlooked sometimes. That was a fantastic ride. We saw it earlier on in practice and in qualifying. He really had that pace early on. So great effort by him to be up there. He will get to the LCQ and have another shot at getting himself into that final, as we are getting set to almost get down and have a chat with the man, Dean Wilson.
Dino, fantastic ride in that one. Your teammate's looking for his 6th Australian Championship, and here you are, the spoiler. You're pretty keen on getting yourself Australian Championship here, aren't you?
Yeah, it's going to be some good racing. Justin and everyone here racing is actually going really good tonight. Can't count out the Aussie boys, Mossy, Tanti, Clout, Webster. There's a big group of those guys that are really fast. Cannot count them out. Of course, you got Josh here, and yeah, the class is stacked. I think you guys are in for some good racing. start's going to be key, so going to be focused on that, and yeah, it'll be good.
I think the other question we have to ask here is the passing opportunities. Do you see there's a lot here on this track?
Yeah, I think there's some. You can make some passing opportunities, and I want to keep those ones under my sleeve because we can't be letting too many secrets out. We'll save that for the main event.
There you go, gentlemen. Hammy, I did see a couple of wheel taps there. I'll get some commission from Dino a little bit later on. Gentlemen, back to you.
Very nice. Yeah, it's one of the things getting through the whoops that I spoke to Lee even before they started. I was saying wheel tap out of those whoops off the first one into the second or third one, and it gets you a great rhythm through there. As we take a look at the replay, watch for the start to the inside here. It almost looked like Hill, the 75, was going to duck around the inside, but bang into that other Yamaha.
Yeah, they come together, but they still came out not too bad on the inside there. Number 29 almost going down. But I tell you what, a smiling Dean Wilson is a happy Dean Wilson. It's been a while since we've been seeing him smiling too much, and this is what we like to see from him. He's always comfortable through these big whoops, isn't he?
Always at home in the whoops, but the Ford really put on an effort, but just here loses the front wheel. He fought that all the way to the ground.
That was one of the slowest of slow motion crashes that you're ever going to see. Up and over the triple, tipping it into another flat corner here, and checkered flag, and a big one-legger there. That's almost a hamstring.
Hey, man, I was happy with that one. That was impressive to see, absolutely. As we get set for the next race, and the action is coming to us thick and fast here tonight, as we see on the line, it will be the SX3 LCQ. Now, Lee, we have already seen, not on the Vision, of course, we have seen this afternoon the 3 heats of the SX3 class, and they really did put up some exciting racing.
Exactly. Now, just for our viewers at home, let's give a little bit of an explanation. Our SX3 class, it's one of the coolest things in our sport in Australia at the moment. It brings in the 2 oldest of the junior categories, so the 15 and 16-year-olds, and then the 17 and 18-year-olds, the youngest of the seniors. So it brings them together, 4 age brackets, and they get to battle, and it is so good for the sport.
It's some of the most exciting racing that we have seen all year long in the motocross series that we've had. The MX3, as it is called, for motocross, it never disappointed, and I feel we're going to see the same thing again. There is so much talent in these young riders. This is essentially a development class, but putting them all together really drags the whole level all up massively.
And just keep your eyes on the yellow numbers are our juniors, and the white numbers are our senior riders. And one of the big guns there, Campbell Williams, came out with one of our fastest qualifiers. Kobe Hantis, likewise, number 294 on that Yamaha machine. Cooper Rowe out of New South Wales, number 277. And Jack Byrne with some of our faster riders here. We, of course, are in the starters' hands, riders in anticipation, ready to go. It is nerve-wracking time down on the starting line. Let's watch for the drop off the gate, and who will jump out first?
Well, good start there for the 277. Ken Lindsay or even Williams come up the inside there and snag away some positions. It looks like Hantis on the 294 to the inside. Now, remember, 4 riders from this race will go through to that final main event. So, all important that you put yourself in a good position early, as we see 3 riders come together there just before the triple.
Cooper Rowe, the rider I had a little bit to do with, got to watch very, very closely at the Australian National Junior Championships in Darwin earlier this year. He did exceptionally well, won a class and got second in a class as well. He's got his yellow numbers on, noting that he is a junior rider. He's doing a fantastic job out there ahead of Kobe Hantis.
And Williams on the Kawasaki, he sits there in third place, the 82 machine, up and over the finish line. Looks to the inside here, he could be in a position to certainly take that position away and puts himself there in the second. So Hantis all of a sudden is moving back to the bubble, the place you don't want to be.
And in what might almost look like a forceful pass. A big crash there for Kobe Hantis, and he has gone face first down into that second last whoop. And we hope he is okay.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. And how about Lindsay had to jump over the top of him? His back wheel stepping out almost off the side of the track to come around with our race leader. That is, of course, Cooper Rowe. So you'll see the yellow flags out. Red and white cross means that the riders have to roll through here. They cannot double jump, triple jump any of the jumps in that particular section, although they are just whoops. We see the checkered flag out already. This race is already over. And 1, 2, 3, and 4 come across. They will move themselves through to that final main event in the SX3. What a start for these guys. Here are the results for SX3. Of course, Rowe was your winner in front of Williams. Travis Lindsay, he sits there in third, and Jack Byrne are the 4 riders progressing through to that final.
What an amazing race there for Cooper Rowe, the young junior. Fantastic job. Campbell Williams back there in second place. Had to come from behind. Not the best of starts, but and almost went down at one stage there. But I tell you what, that was a big crash that we saw through the whoops.
Yeah, that was a hard hit. I did see him have a little bit of trouble earlier on in the day in the practice. But unfortunately for him, he has gone down in this one as we get set to go down to Cam, who is with our winner.
Cooper Rowe, the relief is palpable from here, mate. You made the main event. Hard way to get there, but at least you got a bit of nighttime racing.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. I just put so much effort in trying to make it here and just stoked to be in the main event.
This MX R&D machine got you off the line pretty good, so I think Sando will be out there and pretty happy with that performance.
Yeah, he's helped out a lot through the Pro MX, and now this series, I'm grateful to have him.
Fantastic, mate. We're going to get you back there in the gate for the final. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, back to you.
What a fantastic crowd we have got here on hand at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre for round 1 of the Fox Australian Supercross Championships. I tell you what, Danny Ham, I am pumped. We're about to take a look at a replay.
It was a great start to the inside. Williams on the 82, watch for him. He just sneaks around. It looked like he was going to get himself into a good position, but it was the 277 out early. And watch for the 294 in the background here. Through the whoops, gets himself a good run this time around. Almost a mistake there, but it will be the next lap around that will bite that rider.
Yeah, and it was a big mistake that caused him to go down, but no mistakes whatsoever for Cooper Rowe up at the head of the pack. Campbell Williams coming through. There is the mistake that we were talking about.
He hit the bike.
How about the evasive manoeuvre? That was insane.
I think his bike actually hit it and it almost stepped him out, so very lucky there. Williams pushed it all the way to the checkered flag, but unfortunately not quite enough. However, he does make it to the main event. Now, Lee, something that we're excited to see. Again, these riders have been out earlier on today. They have already had some qualifying races. This is the LCQ for the CR22 85 Cup, and there is some big names in this one, Lee, that didn't go directly through.
Absolutely. Deegan Fort, number 102, that we see there is out of Western Australia, didn't make his way through. Heath Davey, huge name. Kobe Reed, the names go on. Levi Townley, number 10 at the very, very bottom of the list there, Danny.
Yeah, and he lines up on the outside, so a very difficult position for him to get off. As we see the riders, looks like they've got a small delay, possibly around about 3 minutes here. It looks like the officials are saying. So these riders will be trying to get their nerves under control as they just sit there and look down, barreling down that start straight, focusing on trying to get themselves off to a good start and put themselves into that main event.
Well, let's take this opportunity to have a little bit of a chat about Chad Reed's CR22 85cc Cup, and something that, you know, we wish we had back in the day. You got to race an 85. I remember being on a 252 stroke, watching you racing around on the 111 machine on a Suzuki 85cc, or did they call it an 80 back then?
It was an 80, yeah.
I think it was an 80.
Just an 80, yeah. We didn't have that extra 5cc of horsepower that these little kids are spoiled with these days. But yeah, you're right, Lee. We did get that opportunity, and I really feel that it was a massive part. And I spoke with Chad earlier also about it. It is something that really created the riders that we were back then. We had a lot of Supercross that we were able to race it, develop those jumping skills that built a lot of confidence. And it is absolutely fantastic to see such a huge turnout today. 3 full grids of these 85cc's here trying to qualify in. Just shows how much these kids have been thriving to get onto a Supercross track.
So we've already mentioned, okay, this is the LCQ. Only 4 riders make their way through to the final. We've already had our 3 qualifying heats for the CR22 85cc Cup. Those riders make their way through to the final already. So this is the last chance. Anyone that's ever participated or been to an indoor Supercross before would know that if there's a race you do not want to be in, it is the LCQ.
It is absolutely this one. If you can get yourself pumped up, just like the 99 machine there of Cooper Bowman is, look at that, fist pumps up the inside awesome. There, that's cool to see. If you can get yourself pumped up and get yourself off to a good start, it is a fantastic feeling knowing that you have that chance of making it through to the main event.
All right, well, these guys will be checking fuel taps, all kinds of stuff, check the choke, make sure it's not on, and in anticipation to try to put on a good show for not just themselves, but the crowd, their family, their friends, everyone involved. There we have it. The 30-second board is up. We're in the starters' hands here. LCQ for the CR22 85cc Cup.
Lee, where do you feel the start is going to come from?
You know me, I'm calling it
inside
from grid number 2.
Can we get some absolute crazy start from the 26th machine of Levi Townley to the outside? We are going to get that answer also soon. And Lee from the outside, he's going to do it!
Hang on, I've got grid 2 on the inside. Oh, that was my grid 2 let me down. Hey, but we're still in second place. But what a start from Levi Townley. And yes, of course, ladies and gentlemen, that surname, you're wondering where have I heard that from? Ben Townley, one of the world's best that we have ever seen. And launching up and over the triple on an 85, that is a big jump.
That was a huge jump there by Svenkovic in second place. I cannot believe that we saw the whole shot from the outside, but what a fantastic run it was to get himself into the lead. Levi Townley back there in third place at the moment is Heath Davey, and then the 102 machine of Deegan Fort. They are there just running through the screen at the moment. Bowman, though, we saw some fast speeds out of him earlier on. He's there in fifth.
That was a big crash through the leads there, and he just happened to do it at the right time while it was on TV on camera. But I was just about to make mention, these woods must seem enormous to these 85cc kids.
They are huge, as you see another rider way over the point there, stuck in the barriers. I'm not sure who that was, but we see the last lap board already out for Townley. He has got one more to go after a bit of a tough start to the day, Lee. He is certainly coming back, rebounding and getting some redemption for that.
Watching to come through Townley, electing to soak up the first whoop and then rhythm his way through the rest as he approaches the triple and 2-1 off the triple now. Have we seen Levi do, I believe, lifting him out of the corner prior on that last lap? He looked like he did it, but this time not doing it. I think if he wants to do well in the final, he needs to get up and over that triple. There's numerous riders doing it.
Yeah, it's a vital jump for these little 85s to come over. As we see the final results in that race, the CR22 85 Championship LCQ. Townley, of course, was your winner. Senkovic back there in second. Davey Bowman, they are the 4 that will go through to the main event. There is Kelso, Dara Fort, Vincent, Reed, and Oakley. They are all going to pack it up and watch from the stands for the rest of the night, but they will come back the next time out and bring all that experience that they earned today learning how to race Supercross.
But what an opportunity to get out in front of a crowd like this and be able to do such an amazing job. Let's go down to Cam, who is with our winner, Levi Townley.
Levi, what a ride, mate. From the outside gate, that was the start to end all starts.
Yeah, that start was awesome. Just no pressure, relaxed in the shoulders and just let it happen.
So we saw Dad on the line, and obviously some words of wisdom there from your dad. What did he say?
Oh, not too much. Just trying to tell me to remember how to do my practice starts and just nailed it like that.
And it worked, didn't it? We're watching you. You're not jumping that triple at the moment, but in terms of that, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal because you still won the race.
Yeah, I'm just feeling out the lip at the moment, but it didn't matter then. So when it happens, it happens.
It's risk versus reward, though, isn't it? You don't need to take the risk, so why would you, right?
yeah, just be smart in the moment, and when it needs to happen, it'll happen.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the son of a gun, Levi Townley. Ben Townley, gentlemen, dishing out some great words of advice. Wow, boys, what a night's racing so far.
Well, congratulations, Levi Townley. A win there in the LCQ, and will secure himself a spot in the final for the CR22 85cc Cup.
Certainly had to go about it the hard way, having to go through the LCQ, but managed to make it work. As we see a fantastic view of this whole track. Let's look at this replay right now. From the outside, the 26th machine defied all odds and swept across the entire field and got himself that all-important hole shot.
And he did it very, very smoothly as well, and there were no problems whatsoever. Deegan Fort was in there for a while as well. There's a lot of big names mired in the middle of the pack, but the starts are proving to be critical here tonight, Danny.
Yeah, we have always known starts are important. No more important, though, than here. It is so crucial that you can get yourself out to an early lead. Over the triple again for that last time was Townley, and he would have been absolutely pumped to get that one out of the way and into that main event. And what a way to do it, as we see. Down on the start line, we head back to the SX2 LCQ. And Lee, looking down that list, can you believe the riders that we see here in front of us?
Wow, this is a stacked LCQ, that's for sure. Nathan Crawford sits there, third from the inside on the number 199 on board the KTM machine. And on screen at the moment, Noah Ferguson probably didn't expect to find himself in there as well. Haruki Yokiyama, the list of names goes on.
O'Brien, Norris there. Also, we saw Crawford, as you said, Reese Budd to the inside. There is Barham on the 16. Also, Reed Taylor right there on the 86. And the 27 of Liam Atkinson is separating those two massive names right down the inside as we are getting set to get this one underway. And I can promise you, there are some nerves on the start line right now.
Absolutely. Now, Danny, who is your pick to get the whole shot here in the LCQ SX2?
I'm going to run with the 199 of Crawford. We've seen some great starts out of him. However, I think Taylor got himself out to a pretty good start the last time around. Bud is going to have to be pretty quick so that he doesn't get boxed out there from the very inside. You can see on the right of the screen, he actually has to dodge the side of that jump.
Yeah,
so
it's almost like it comes out.
Correct, yeah. You need to get the elbows in front of that rider next to you, otherwise you do need to back down.
Yeah, we've seen it multiple times tonight where the rider in grid number 2 just comes across just a little bit. You've got no choice but to back out. And that can play in your mind a little bit. If you're not super confident and believe that you're going to get a good start, you can kind of doubt yourself on the gate if you find yourself in grid 1.
Have to be full of confidence, as we see down on the start there. That was the 29 of Ferguson trying to get himself ready to get this one underway. We saw some lightning speed out of him at the Motocross Championship. He was absolutely flying a lot of our rounds, and expect to see big things out of him here. Yokiyama in the 386, the Kawasaki rider, has also been a rider that gets good starts, but we're about to get this one underway, and we'll have an answer in no time at all. The 199 lead to the inside, and Taylor.
Yeah, great start. Nathan Crawford just riding Taylor a little bit high in the corner, but that is what indoors is all about. Not too bad a start from Reese Budd. He needs to try to make amends.
Yeah, Bud's put himself into a good position. Barham is probably the rider that is looking the worst at the moment. He's back a little bit further as we see 1, 2, 3, 4 come over. Ferguson to the right-hand side of Bud. Can he make the pass in the background just there? I'll try and pick that one up.
A couple of consecutive mistakes from Nathan Crawford. I'm not sure if you saw there, Danny, but up and over the finish line, double. He scrubbed and come up a bit short, landed on top of the landing ramp.
Yeah, to the background there, I saw Ferguson to the inside of Bud. So Reese Bud now finds himself in the very dire straits position in 4th place. And Taylor, again, another rider that we don't see too much of. He is absolutely flying this one and deserves all the credit right here, because he is keeping up with one of the fastest motocross riders that we've seen all year long in this class.
Beautiful job for our race leader, Nathan Crawford, at the moment. But he has only got the smallest of margins over Reed Taylor back there in 2nd place. And he's
still Ferguson in third at the back of shot there in front of Bud. But I'll tell you what, there is 4 riders back there trying to get that final position. That is where the real excitement is at the moment. These 2 here are going to come around and get the win. But the background of this shot, keep your eyes on it. 4 riders up to the inside. Someone just blasted through on the line. That was Atkinson in front of Bud.
Wow, relegated a position on the last corner. Reese Budd would be devastated. What a ride from Liam Atkinson.
Congratulations, Atkinson. Man, that is true indoor racing right there.
Anything can happen in indoors.
As we look at this results for this race, Nathan Crawford, the winner, of course, in front of Reed Taylor. Excellent ride. Noah Ferguson through in third place. Liam Atkinson on the very final corner puts himself into the final. Reese Budd back behind them. Unfortunate for these guys, Yokoyama, Barham, Bree, Fox and Norris. That will be the end of their night. Let's head down to the winner with Cam Williams.
Nato Crawford, probably not the way you wanted to get into the main event, but job done. You're in the main event anyway, right?
Yeah, we don't want to be there. But sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, we have a look up on the screen a minute ago, and there's some factory dudes that aren't going to be in the main event tonight. So I'm grateful to be in the race tonight, and we just need to execute that start in the main event like that one. And I rode a little bit tight because I knew what was on the line, so hopefully we can loosen up for the main event and put this thing up the front and on the box.
I think also your size is going to be a benefit. You know, if needs be, you can kind of move someone out of the way, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the nature of this, small stadium. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and the other riders don't pay the bills. So we've got to get a good start in the next race and go for it.
There you have it, gentlemen. Nato Crawford says this is a man's race this weekend here. Going to be a wild night of racing, gentlemen.
Certainly is. This series, as we've seen so many times, is one of the wildest that we get to see when you get onto the Supercross, and especially these indoor venues. And what a way the night has gone so far for these fans to be treated to some amazing racing already, and plenty more still to come once we get to those finals. But before we do any more, let's take another look at the replay of this one. Watch for the 199 through the first turn, but it looked like 86 was going to get it, ran him high. And unfortunate for him, just bumped back a little bit. But the real battles, as we said, were at the back of those 4. That was where the real pressure was going to come into play. Crawford held on to this position great all the way through. Plenty of pressure applied to him, Lee, but he managed to stay composed and get away with the win.
He sure did, and it was all happening behind him, wasn't it? There was about to be a little bit of a shuffle.
And it was vital for those guys to try and get themselves through to the final in that one. As we saw Nathan Crawford come across and take the win in that. It was all about the last couple of places, though, to get through the LCQ. And unfortunate for one of the big-name riders in Reese Budd, who actually was one of the fastest qualifiers that we saw earlier today, Lee. So that just tells the tale of indoor racing so much. It is so intense, so high pressure, and if you're not used to this kind of racing, it can reach up and bite you.
Yeah, like we've said many times, anything can happen in indoor Supercross, and usually does. Right on screen at the moment, number 102 on the Empire Kawasaki, Matt Moss, did not expect to see himself here in the LCQ. However, he has no choice but to make it happen when it counts. He got a great start in the last one. We're going to need a good start from Luke Cloud if he wants to try to get himself through as well into that final.
Whiteman has also been riding exceptional tonight. We expect to see a fair bit of pressure from him. Bailey Malkowitz, another rider that easily could put themselves there into the final, and a few more of the riders, but it is about Moss. He's got some work ahead of him, especially in the position, the gate that he is sitting in currently. He is on the worst side of the gate, being that far out. However, we've seen it in the 85s. You can get the whole shot from there, but you need to do something exceptional if you want to put yourself into the first turn from those further out gates that we see.
Well, we're only moments away from the drop of the gate here. SX1 LCQ. 4 laps will be the duration. As you said, Mossy making it a little bit hard for himself, but he had no choice as to where he was going to start. That was his grid selection based off where he finished And Luke Clout, what more can we say? He was firing on all cylinders, a little bit of a front wheel washout, and unfortunately for him, how about the hometown hero, Elijah Weesey, finds himself on the far outside. He wants to do whatever he can to get himself into the main event.
I got a chance to walk through the pits, the crowd earlier on, when the fans were into the pits, being able to look at all the bikes, getting down to the pit party, seeing all the sponsors, all the displays. The Honda activation was out there as well. The kids came down and had a chance to ride those little bikes, and just watching the crowd interact with all the riders and all the teams. And I tell you what, I saw more people standing over there at the 82 little tent with Elijah Weesey, getting photos. High fives were thrown around, fist pumps everywhere. He is one of the most excited riders out there in the hometown of Adelaide, and really had a lot of crowd support earlier on.
And he's pretty strong on his Instagram and his socials as well. Some of the stuff, he's got the mullet going. He has all kinds of cool stuff. Put some rad music to his edits that he pops up. So let's hope he gets a good start out there and does well. For any of you guys wondering what's going on there, we just saw a rider grabbing the front of his pants and pulling them up. It's actually part of the starting technique that gets rid of any of the slack in the riding pants. As you take off, it stops it from slipping and then catching, so there's no movement, and something that we've just seen in the last sort of couple of years of racing.
Yeah, you need to keep as much weight, especially on this particular start gate. It has a metal crate that offers most traction. The moment you fall back from that, you lift the front wheel, you get a bad start. So how will they launch out here? Moss with a good one. Oh, he was clear out in front of everyone else there.
What a whole shot. His starts are on point. Oh, rider's gone into the side wall coming out of turn one to try to make out who that rider was.
I think that might have been Whiteman, unfortunate. Yes, the 30 machine up for such a fantastic start.
And his forks are still locked in. The start button is still locked down. He needs to grab that front brake and do something. I'm wondering, so he's got a start button malfunction there, because that should have come unstuck in the first turn.
Yeah, so we'll explain that as well a little bit later with that start button, but it is Moss in front of Clout. There is a name too that we knew. Actually, there's another rider that knows how to ride indoors. Robbie Marshall, 51. He was back there racing when I was racing as well. He has done more laps around an indoor than any rider here on the track, so he certainly knows the craft of Supercross in these tight arenas. Sits there in third place and is set to look like he's going to get himself into the main event. Only 4 laps of distance. They'll come around and reap the last lap for this time around. That there again, unfortunately, Whiteman is going to be a lap down very soon. We'll see the leader coming up behind him. Oh, look at this, for 4th place. Oh, Malkowitz. Is that on the left? Malkowitz had just went back a couple of places.
Yeah, we can clearly see Matt Moss there, of course, in the head of the pack. And just behind him, Luke Clout, still looking relatively safe. Yeah, it's 3rd place there. We have got some bumpy grinding going on. Checking flag comes out, so Moss through. A look over the shoulder for Luke Clout, and a nice nod of the head for Luke Zielinski. Makes his way through with Bailey Malkowitz there in 4th place.
So I think what you saw leading up to the triple there, Lee, would have been Robbie Marshall having about 5 bikes coming up the inside of him and absolutely parking him high and giving him nowhere to go. As we look at the final result for this qualifying, the LCQ, of course, that is Matt Moss in front of Luke Clout, Luke Zielinski, Bailey Malkowitz are the riders that will go through to the main event, and everyone else, unfortunately, night over. And you will come back at our next round and try and regain some very important points.
Really got a feel for Joel Whiteman, that's for sure. All right, let's head down to Cam, who is with Matt Moss.
Matt Moss, what a start. Man, you ripped a beauty. You had a bike length by the first turn.
Yeah, well, mate, I'm on a Kawasaki, the best bike out there with Pirelli tyres, what do you expect? But, you know, that was probably the most scariest race I've ever, for nerves. Just knowing that I'm a championship contender, and man, I've only got myself to blame if I put myself in bad positions, because I made a mistake in that first one. But you know, I just proved that I can get a start from wide, and man, it's called resilience and believing in yourself and being strong mind, and you can achieve anything. And this is what this sport's all about. You gotta grind when you have to, and then celebrate when you win.
The ups and the downs in this sport has them all for you, Matt Moss, doesn't it? Hot damn.
Yeah, I've had lots of ups and downs, but
it makes it all worth it. In the end, it's I'm a dad with the kids that get to watch me and my wife, and I've got some great sponsors here, Pride 23, and into logistics. So, man, I'm just out here to give a good show for those guys and, man, be mentally strong. That's what Sean Williamson's taught me, to be proud, and mentally strong, and you can achieve anything. So I'm happy with that.
I'm going to say to you, Matt Moss, I think everybody in Australia is really proud of you, me included, mate. Congratulations, gentlemen. Matt Moss, the fighting spirit we expect to see.
Well, I tell you what, Matt Moss's starts tonight, I know he had to get into the final via the LCQ. However, I'm going to say he's as good a chance as anyone to win that final because of how good his starts are tonight.
That last start, especially where he started from just then, will show you that he has the opportunity, because this is where he will probably start in the main event, from around that position, and he just swept straight across in front of everyone. You can see right there, that was Whiteman getting bumped through the first turn. We haven't seen too much of it. That's the indoor that we expect. Unfortunately for him, that will see him out tonight. But Moss, what a ride, and certainly some confidence going forward into that main event.
Absolutely, as he comes up and over the triple, looking in fine style at the moment, and receives that checkered flag. He'll be absolutely pumped.
Yeah, Mossy knows how to turn it around. He is another rider that has had plenty of experience on the indoors, much younger when he had that chance to race indoors as well, but he knows how to turn these around. It is a longer race. Yeah, he was struggling just there, wasn't he? Very good. As we see the crew out on the track looking to do a little bit of maintenance. Very important for these guys to make sure that the track is in prime condition for the best of our races later on tonight. And Lee, what a way this night has started out. We've seen so much exciting racing already between all of the classes. The main events are the real key, though. This is where all the main action is going to happen.
Absolutely. Let's have a little bit of a recap or a chat about the night so far and some of the highlights, what I would like to talk about. Let's talk about the size of the whoops that we've got here at Indoor Supercross to start with, Danny. It's great to see.
Yeah, the whoops are very large. Now, a lot of the riders, if you've ever ridden whoops, will know that you like to carry as much momentum onto the whoops to try and stay up on top of them. But the riders here don't have that chance, really, because they're coming out of a corner that is so slow and so close to the whoops, they don't really get that opportunity. The 450s, however, they've got that extra power. They are able to jump up on top and then skim across. But we're seeing it more and more, Liam. We saw it actually the first time we saw it was in the 85s earlier on, where the double, triple through there. And the way the track is breaking down, I think that is going to be mainly what we will see a little bit later on.
Now, also, let's talk about Indoor Supercross. When we first got here and a lot of the big guns were looking at the track and they were just like, oh my God, look how tight this place is. They were like, the track is kind of on the easy side. Well, you know what we're seeing now on track, the battles, how close the racing is, I love it. It's awesome. It's aggressive. And I was about to make comment before about a passing move that was made that normally would seem kind of aggressive is just super polite here at Indoors.
And you know what? I think they're still being a little bit too polite for Indoors. I think we will see a little bit more aggression later on in the finals.
I think so. Okay, well, I believe we're about to have a little bit of a look at another one of our replays from earlier on.
Yeah, and it just shows exactly how intense this is. Dean Wilson, of course, to the inside, got himself off to this great start, and it was flying. So there was Whiteman. This is the heat from earlier on, but you could see just how tight it was between the 75 machine of Hill and Luke Clout, and that's the aggression that we are talking about. You need to be right on the back wheel of these riders. All good for Wilson right now. I don't see the final going like this. However, it is going to be a lot more like this with 10 of the top riders all out there.
Oh, there's the front wheel tuck from Luke Clout that we did not want to see, that's for sure. But it was all about this guy, Dean Wilson, up and over with the one-legger and the stretch limbering up for later on in the night. Great job for the Froth Honda rider. All right, well, the number 22. It is not just an iconic number in the sport of motocross. It also is iconic here in AFL football. And anytime you get to swap jerseys with a fellow athlete, it's a good time. Let's take a bit of a look.
Bunch of mates here in Adelaide do a lot of trail riding and single trail stuff, and that's how I sort of got into it, and then went to my first Supercross sort of last year, and I just sort of fell in love with the whole scene. Well, you got the most starts. Yeah, record for most starts.
Yeah, 265.
Yeah, so is there anyone close to him? No. He's an absolute legend and a huge name, if not the biggest in the sport, so I'm super privileged to be able to sort of hang out with him the last couple of days.
I'm almost bummed that I'm not in shape and that I didn't bring a gear bag, because this would be fun. Like, I probably thoughts of like, damn man, I just wish I had some gear and was riding a little bit. So I'm excited to be here.
Extremely excited to come here on Saturday and watch these guys slinging around the track. This isn't work. This is good fun. I do not wish I was riding out here.
I have a lot of things to offer this weekend. Great championship fight starting here in Adelaide, and then the reintroduction of the 85cc kids.
Now, Danny, last year, the 2022 Fox Australian Supercross Championship, we had a fantastic battle between a couple of the big hitters, American Justin Brayton and Australia's very own Aaron Tanti. And what a battle it was throughout the season.
So exciting to watch. They traded blows at every round they went to. Tanti got his first win here in Adelaide at Wavell last year. Brayton was so fast. That championship battle between them was just on fire every single time. We got actually a chance to capture all that too. That was pretty cool.
We sure did, and some of the footage that was captured was turned into a documentary. For those of you that got to have a little bit of a look at it, you would have noticed it wasn't just between the riders. There's team managers. There's, of course, Tanti's team manager, Craig Dack. There's Justin Brayton's team manager, Yuriv Konski, and to see the passion from both of these, it's not just the riders, there's so much more to it.
It gives you a great insight, not just about the racing, but what's involved in the background, the training that they do, the mindset that these riders have, especially when they're at the track, trying to figure out how they can get the advantage on top of the other rider that they've been battling it out for so intensely for the entire year. And it was great to watch, especially with Tanti grow in Supercross last year, because he had a fantastic motocross year. It was really his first hit out of the Supercross, and he absolutely excelled.
He sure did. And for 2022, the Fox Australian Supercross Championship, a documentary was pieced together, and it was called A Supercross Life. And what a documentary it was. Let's take a look.
I do have a championship on the line. I've got to be on the offensive. I can't ride defensively all day. I got to come here and do what I've been doing at the first 4 rounds.
Justin Brayton is the new Australian champion in the SX1 class. Having the worst, Brayton's got the drive this time.
But we believe Justin Brayton's series lead will be 108 now.
Yeah, it's crazy going for 3rd championship in a row, and I'm going to go after it.
6 points. I'm trailing right now.
We're buddies, but racing's racing. A number 1 plate is a number 1 plate.
You're 13 down, he's 19. Get him.
The 2018 SX1 champion is Justin Brayton.
Having the HRC ride in America definitely puts pressure on me here to win. The last thing I would want is to come over here as an American Honda factory rider and not win the championship.
And Brayton will win a 4th straight Australian crown.
2 today, 4 in a row. Got it. Man, that's awesome.
Daddy, you're the fastest guy you want. I wanted to teach her. It's not always the fastest guy who wins. It's the person who doesn't give up. It's the person who tries the hardest. All right, Dad, now you can really teach yourself. How hard are you going to try?
SX1 final moto. 20 laps is the duration for this one.
Gates down. Final race for the 9. Moss also up the inside. Tanti
slots into second place.
Moss under so much pressure. The two Yamaha riders right behind him, and it's Tanti that's moved into the lead.
Oh, down goes Cloud.
Look to be Luke Cloud down again. Luke Cloud, it has just snowballed into a couple of little mistakes here. He needs to regroup.
It was the realisation for the whole CDR Yamaha Monster Energy team that with Luke Cloud out, now all of a sudden the main emphasis was going to be on their development rider, Aaron Tanti.
Tanti's off track. He is on the start line. That's not where you're meant to be. Well, somehow he's managed to hold the lead, though.
Hey, and you know what? He's settled back down again. He's taken a deep breath, and that is the mark of a champion. What a beautiful line from Brayton. Around the outside, he's going to have the inside in the next corner. One corner to go. Justin Brayton takes win number 1 in the Fox Australian Supercross Championships.
We lost clout, but I think after what Tanti had proved to everyone what he could do in the outdoors, it should have been no surprise to us what he would do in Supercross, and that was certainly the case. It was amazing.
We're going to catch up and golf with Reese Budd. He golfs a little bit up here, and that's the only other rider I really know that golfs, but I know Scott Bishop's a really good golf player apparently, but we're not that good, so... Oh, not again.
Like, we sort of started playing golf around the same time, and we've progressed pretty well together the whole way. I mean, there's been times where, like, you know, he'll have a good day, I'll have a bad day, but we're never really both on at the same time.
One of us is good at putting and the other is good at driving, you know, so, and we usually change it up. We just can't master all three at the moment. It keeps you active rather than, you know, sitting down, but it's relaxing at the same time. It's definitely fun to get out and do something different and take your mind off bikes. This is where it gets fun. Oh, it's going in the water. That's the first time I lost the ball today. Sometimes it's stressful. That's not how you play golf, by the way. These are pretty much ready to go to homes. I think someone's going to look at one of the boys. Hey! Oi! 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 They're all Harry Potter themed. That one's Hermione. That's a girl. This is Ron. And then the other one's Harry. Hey, Bernie. Oh.
With Aaron Tanti, he's such an unassuming character. He doesn't have that personality that you can just, being around him, you just expect him to go out and do what he does on the track. But in a nutshell, he's a monster of an athlete.
He wakes up, he'll go to the gym, whether it be weights or endurance. He'll come home and if he's not working on his bike, he'll be working on the house. Changing air filters, that takes hours. My clothesline's always full. There's not a day that he's not doing anything. So he definitely puts in the work.
Now we're going to the next level. What?
I'm putting everything into it. Get this Supercross title would definitely be a dream come true for me.
I think if you look now from last weekend at Melbourne Supercross and we look at where Tanti is now, mind-blowing. Are we potentially going to see someone finally take it to Brayton and make it come all the way down to the wire? They battled super hard in that 20-lap final. It was great to watch. And they had a few words too.
But Tanti did not want to give this up, completely taking that line away.
Just said, hey, let's be safe. I'm down with some hard racing. Let's do it, but let's just be safe. That's the thing.
They were having some serious words after some races.
Early in his career, you know, just moving to the 450 class with Dakar and just kind of thriving to win and want to make a name for himself on a world stage. Battling and Justin Brayton, who only 1 week ago, the fastest qualifier in Paris and ran top 3 in both nights against, you know, the current champion of the world and the AMA.
Then have a look. He's going to move up there. Is it enough to make the move?
I know he's a good rider and it'd be really cool to knock him off his throne in Australia.
What a battle. Beautiful riding between these two. Neither rider wants to give it up.
Totally fine with racing hard, but let's just be safe, you know? When we're almost touching the air, that's when I'm like, all right, come on, show a little more maturity.
We can see the way he fought. He's just a tough little bulldog, you know? First 450 main event ever, and he almost won it. We're not only surprised, but stoked with what he's doing.
Tanti now is going to grow from that confidence that he got last weekend. Confidence is a dangerous thing. If you all of a sudden start to believe, you know, anything can happen then.
I almost said to him on the podium, I'm like, hey man, I know a couple things that you could do better, but I'm like, let's wait a few weeks.
That's right, man. My legs came out so bad. Had no steam in them at all. Yeah.
You look really good. Like I think you're faster than this. Yeah. Mistakes. You make a 1 second mistake on a motocross track, it's that big deal. You make a 1 second mistake here, it's a 5 second mistake. Yeah, exactly.
I'll say this, and potentially I'll be proven wrong. They still have nothing on Justin.
Looks to be Yamaha's first and second, but Justin Brayton right in there trying to go around the outside. Switcheroo for all three riders here. Placement, it looks like Tanti will come out on top in this exchange.
Yeah, Tanti wants to play rough. That's okay. JB's just going to need to be sensible through this race. JB a 40.4, Tanti a 40.8.
Pressure on at the moment. Tanti continuing to lead and being shadowed by Justin Brayton.
Tell him to stop following.
Yes, Danny, yes!
Who will crack first? Will it be Brayton? Will it be Tanti?
6 laps to go. He needs to go.
Rocketing out of the corner as he edges towards the finish line. Checkered flag and win for Aaron Tanti in the CDR Monster Energy Yamaha. Justin Brayton back in second place on board the factory Honda machine.
Yes, Tanti. Yes.
In the SX1 final, CDR Yamaha Monster Energy rider.
On the first lap, Brayton had them both over the woods. All of a sudden, he popped out in the lead.
I know. Yeah. He's definitely grown. All them years, like I started him riding a peewee at 3 years of age, and pretty much been from 3 years old onwards. I started nippers at 4, and it hasn't stopped. 7 years of age, this one down here. So he's 26 years old now, so, you know, 22 years of racing, long time.
Thanks for doing all the hard work. I get the easy bit.
Yeah, you get the
I say that to all the parents.
They spent all the money and done the hard to make them.
Yeah, growing up from a young age, he was hard. You know, at home when we did have the tracks at times, he would always put out their markers and be like, break there and chase me with a stick. And
what I've put in to Aaron, yeah, like, it hasn't been a waste. I think he's got more in him.
Aaron has opportunity, in my opinion, if he wins, because now he just beat somebody that could run top 3 with Ken Roxon and Eli Tomac, can beat Marvin Muskin, can beat Cooper Webb. I think Aaron's position, he should look at it as, hey, I expect to win, I expect to do well, and I expect to be competitive against Justin Brayton.
Guys, deep breaths, mate. Just calm. Stay calm. You're fastest. Let the track come to you. Don't override it. No mistakes. No mistakes.
Race is underway. Yeah, it was interesting to see. Matt Moss came out exceptionally fast, and he'll own the inside coming into turn 2.
Well, the 2 championship leaders. Oh, down goes Tanti.
Tanti has gone down, and in the process has pushed Justin Brayton a little wide there, but managed to come back on the track.
Alright, go.
It looks like Matt Moss will take the win in the first of the Triple Crown. He does. Checkered flag for Matt Moss, and he is ecstatic.
Very mentally, it's a struggle when you crash out. It's a massive letdown. You feel like you've let down your team, your family, your friends, and your fans, let alone yourself. It was really hard to get up from that and really try and focus. To be the one to knock Brayton off, getting that 5th straight title, not many people beat him.
On the gate, we're about to see the drop of the gate at the start of race number 2.
Yes, Az.
So he will lead the pack over. But as you said, it's the guy that makes the least mistakes going through there that is probably going to end up on the top step at the end of the night.
And he's down. Oh, that was such a huge crash from Aaron Tanti, and he has certainly rung his bell. He has
It's not a good sight when you see your kid fall like he fell and not move.
You could just see it in his eyes. You didn't need to say anything. He usually carries his head held high, and driving home, his head didn't really raise a whole lot. But he knows what it's like in the profession. It was a little bit heartbreaking knowing that he had the red plate and he was going for the championship. It was kind of like something just slipped out underneath him.
And he hasn't made any mistakes, and he's put himself in this position in the championship. A fantastic job from Justin Brayton, taking the win here.
Look, it's one of those nights. I'm just sitting outside the medical centre, outside the race safe, and Aaron's had a big one. He's gone over the bars and landed on his head, and obviously some sort of concussion. It's not serious. He'll be okay. The championship would be done for him, but that's all part of the learning curve. But the main thing is that he's okay.
Will it be Brayton? Will it be Moss? Race is underway. A sensational start from Kyle Webster out of the middle of the pack.
Webster, Moss grabs himself the whole shot, but Brayton is positioned well.
Turbo needs to remain calm. It's all about points. He's going to take it into the final round. He just needs to be clever.
At the moment, 99% of the aggression is coming from Matt Moss.
Brayton with a good run through the whips to climb up into the lead.
Let's go, boy, let's go!
Oh, flat tyre. He's got a flat tyre. Rear tyre.
What's wrong? Can you see what's wrong?
Whatever it is, it's catastrophic because it's caused him to not be able to really circulate at any form of pace. Let's stop talking about that and talk about the man of the moment. Check the flag out for Matt Moss.
Used to being here in Australia and kind of dominating and having his family, his wife and his kids here with him. So for him to be away from his close-knit family, you can see how tight they are, how close they are, and to be not dominating, it's having a little bit of a double-edged sword effect for him. So yeah, you can absolutely hear it in his voice. Must be incredibly tough.
He still finished second overall.
Same third on this timing. That's what I'm asking.
What the hell?
It's the hardest thing I've had to do, to leave the kids and my wife at home, to say, all right, I'll be back in 2.5 weeks. It's hard for my wife. Like, I probably feel most guilty with that. I just leave her with 3 kids. So typically coming here to Australia, I would bring my whole family and we would kind of treat it like a little bit of a holiday. We would stay for 2 or 3 months. This year was a little bit more of a challenge. My kids are getting older. I've got an 8, a 5, and a 1-year-old. So the 8 and 5-year-old are in school. They're old enough to know that I'm going to be gone for a while. That's what it takes to chase dreams, and I'm still doing it at 38. I also think it's a good learning lesson for the kids to see Dad leaving and chasing his dream on a world stage. I mean, my son loves that, like on my motorcycle, he thinks it's so cool to see Dad have number 1 on his bike, and he thinks it's the fastest bike just because it has that number on it. So great lessons for them.
People grossly underestimate what he's capable of doing on a dirt bike, and year in, year out, at the age of 38, he continues to prove how great he really is.
I don't want to leave and not get the job done, Like, if I'm going to leave them at home, Dad needs to do the work and be here for a reason and not just be here to mess around, and was leaving for a purpose, and we're here and ready to enjoy it.
He's one of those guys that kind of had to fight for every opportunity I think he ever got. He really just eats, sleep, and breathes motocross and puts a lot of thought and effort into it and a lot of training, and he's just a really solid rider. He keeps his cool, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but he also gets good starts and puts himself in good positions to do well.
I feel Justin, as an athlete, is one of the best in the world.
Yeah. This is that grimy and low down and slimy as flow. Mind-eating fluid lobotomy dough. Heimlich maneuver for rhymes you choke. Swallow me whole and then vomit these quotes. I'm in the yoke of the quality folk. I got this crazy feeling. This might just be my season. I need some new believers. I'm just an underdog.
First couple laps, maybe just aggressive, and then settle in and just nice and smooth. It's going to matter hitting those rhythms clean every lap.
From Justin Brayton, but Matt Moss has got another one of those lightning starts. His whole shots have been on fire the last couple of rounds.
Brayton a little bit short there, as to Webster. That's allowed Moss to clear himself. That whole shot going into turn number 1.
In the critical part of the race, they come around this time, they will receive the last lap board. And Brayton has dropped off ever so slightly.
Brayton's rolling.
Brayton is rolling. So we have a major problem with the number one machine, who is currently back in third place.
Flat tire. Brand new tire.
Defending a championship gets harder and harder and harder.
A rag, someone?
And when you do 4 of them, you continue to get more of a target on your back, which is expected. What's happened in the past is done, and biggest thing is execute my race and put up a battle.
Terrible start from Justin Brayton. In fact, what a start it was for Aaron Tanti. He's got out ahead of Matt Moss. Wow, okay, let's go. Championship points provision. Justin Brayton, 85. Matt Moss, 84. There is 1 point in it as they sit.
So Brayton cannot ease up here.
It is enough for that 1 point. He will be crowned national champion for the SX1 category for the Fox Australian Supercross Championships. What an amazing job. 5 straight championships, Danny Ham.
Just wouldn't have thought we would do this from where we came from. This one was a hard one. I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't feel like I give up anything, but we certainly give up a lot of time with our family, a lot of time with friends to be able to put in the commitment you need to put in to win.
Flat tire in the first one. Oh my God. That was tough. I did the last 2 laps with a flat tire, just literally trying to finish. This one's been really difficult without my family here for this long. I don't want to leave them at home to just come here and, get second, to be honest. So the goal was, many months ago to do this, and just so happy and relieved to get it done. Now we can sleep for a little bit. Until next year. Call me when you get up.
Okay, all right.
Love you. Bye.
Welcome back to round 1 of the Fox Australian Supercross Championship. We are here in Adelaide, and of course the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. And what a first half of the night we have seen so far, Danny Ham. We have seen some awesome races. We've seen some surprises. The track has definitely stood the test and what we expected to see.
Yeah, I expected the track to have broken down just a little bit more than what we've seen so far. And during this break, our track crews had the opportunity to get back out there with the machines, clean it all back up so we are ready again for those final races. And this is one of the races that will be up very soon, but they're just getting themselves sorted out. The track itself it's offered some close racing, but we haven't seen too many passes yet, Lee. We haven't seen much aggression yet out of the riders. I think the riders have held themselves back just a little bit to ensure that they got themselves through to that all-important final that is coming up soon.
Well, how many times have you heard it in the past where you tend to you tend to feel the biggest of the passes and the block passes and the aggression is going to be made in the finals? That's when it counts.
Yeah, absolutely. So expect big things out of all of these finals, but let's head back down to the SX1 Heat 2 replay so we can look through just a few more examples of what we're talking about, Lee, as we got this one underway. And it was going to be Brayton to the inside, and just how tight it is between these riders coming through that first turn.
Yeah, and Brayton was on fire. You could see right from the get-go. I think this is just a little bit of an insight as to what we're going to see come SX1 final later on tonight. We saw a little bit earlier the emotion that we saw from Yuriv Konski when they got that championship win last year. And, of course, they've had so many back-to-back wins with Brayton and Team Honda here in Australia. What a team these two are.
Really shows the amount of effort that goes in for the entire team, not just the rider. There is a big team element to this sport, and how much sacrifice and you know, the commitment that the whole team has to put in to get that #1 plate onto these bikes.
Well, it is almost go time for SX3 final. 7 laps the duration. Now that is going to go in the blink of an eye.
it is, for us watching, it's going to go so fast. It's only a few more laps than they did earlier on in their heats. However, as a rider, 7 laps seems to take quite a long time, especially if you're not feeling that groove in the race and you're struggling a little bit. Those 7 laps can feel like an eternity. If you've got that just flowing motion from the start of the race, then you might find that those 7 laps are quite easy. But it still is going to come down to this particular part right here off the start. These riders heading out for their sighting lap just to look for the line, see what has changed before they go out there, so there is no surprises when they tackle lap number 1.
Now, every single rider on this SX3 rider list is a big name in their own right. But let's start with the big ones. Jack Mather, he was our champion SX3 last year, so he carries the number 1 plate on the Husqvarna machine here today, going into round 1. And of course, that red background makes it very easy to see who the reigning champion is. He's going to have his hands full with American Parker Ross. Now, for those of you that follow the sport closely, Parker Ross, an American rider out of California on the Honda machine. He's here in Australia riding under Yariv Konski's team for Polyfloor Honda. If you have a look on his Instagram, if you search him up and have a little bit of a look, you will see one of the biggest crashes that you have ever seen only a handful of weeks ago at Super Motocross finale in LA Coliseum. He went end for end for end. It looked like a gymnastics thing gone wrong, and somehow he is on the bike and looking as good as he is at the moment.
He was very fast earlier on today, so no doubt will be one of our main contenders as we close this race out. There he is to the inside on the number 2 machine. Number 1 right next to him, of course, is Mather. Kingsford on the 20 machine sits next to Joel Campbell, 52. Orlando there on 75, as well as Kobe Drew on 46. Those there are your ideal gates. The further you go out, the less ideal they are. But as we've seen, it doesn't mean that you can't get yourself a whole shot from those further out gates, although you are really making it difficult for yourself. And now let's take this opportunity, Lee, for those at home that don't know, you'll see the front ends of these bikes squat down. Lee, tell us what that is all about.
Okay, so our start button, something that you and I certainly did not have back in our early days of doing Supercross. We were climbing all the way over the front of those handlebars to try to keep that front end down out of the gate. Now, what this does is there's a button that's located on the fork protector that as you pull the forks down, you lock that button in, and it locks the forks into a lowered position. As you can imagine, the geometry of a lowered fork so much easier to drive out of the gate. As we saw earlier on, once in a blue moon, not very often, it goes pear-shaped and it doesn't unclip for you, and you are stuck with that front end all the way down. Happened to my junior team rider Seth Shackleton at the last round of Pro MX, and it's happened again here tonight. Like I said, doesn't happen very often. So most of the time how it works is as soon as you jump on those brakes going into the first turn, unclips and it comes straight back up to allow your forks to work the way that they're supposed to work. Man, I wish I had these back in our day.
So much wish we had them back in our day. The idea is so that you don't lift that front wheel out of the gate, and having the forks down will keep that wheel closer to the ground. The moment you lift that front wheel, you get into a wheelie situation, you either have to be on the clutch or you have to get off the gas. Either way, the guy next to you that's got himself a great start can just power in front of you, and we're seeing how important it is to have those elbows in front.
Now, Danny, can I just add, I used to have to race a Honda CR500 without a start button as well, trying to keep the front wheel down. So you want to know a world of pain of trying to keep the front end down, try to jump out of a gate on a 500 without a start button.
So I've done that more recently, yes. But I've got a lot more weight on me now, more on the gut, so that I can just put that at the front of the bike, and that will help hold the front wheel down.
Is that another form of traction control?
It is, you know, and that's why I am this body type I am now, Lee Hogan. It's all about traction control.
Okay, well, these guys down here got their own traction control going on, and we can see a very hyped up number 1 Jack Mather there. Now, what I'd like to talk about as riders are starting to get hyped up and ready to go, the art of a whole shot. Now, most of the time, it doesn't matter, Danny, if we're talking a very short, tight, intense start for an indoor supercross or a big, long outdoor motocross start where you've got a super long start straight before tipping it into the first turn. The biggest part to getting the whole shot is those first initial meters out of the gate. And it's all about trying to get those elbows out ahead of the other riders. You might have the fastest bike on the planet, but if both riders either side of you get out just ahead and close you off, you can't ride through the middle of them. So it's so important to get this first jump. And with the metal mesh brake starts that we can see down here that all the riders are on at the moment, traction is not an issue.
Plenty of nerves at the moment for all of these riders. 10 riders through to the final. 7 laps the race distance for the SX3 final. First of the finals for the 2023 Australian Supercross Championship, brought to you by Fox.
And great to see young superstar women's racer Maddie Healy down there on the 32nd board. That's awesome to see.
We are only moments away from getting this one underway. The tensions are high. The excitement in the crowd starts to build. The revs come up. We are set to get the first of our finals underway. And it's a great start by the number 1 machine of Jack Mather to the inside. Look at number 2.
Right, and Kingsford comes through, and Jack Mather sends a tough block flying, but what a brilliant start and first turn effort from Kingsford.
So keep your eye on those first couple of positions right now. That is Williams. He's a further few places back there as we look to our list. Just in front of you, Kingsford, Mather, Parker Ross, Drew Olander.
And Danny, please let me apologise. He was not Ryder Kingsford. That's his younger brother, Cade Kingsford.
Of course. With both. But, oh, look at this. Parker to the inside. Oh, Mather! Down he goes!
He hit the deck hard. That was a high side right into the berm. That is just like riding straight into a wall. Now, does he have major bike problems? No, it just looked like a little bit of a whack of that front brake lever up. So, and he's gone down again. So, if you look at the front brake, Danny, it looks to me like the front wheel is locked up.
Something is definitely going on there. Otherwise, Jack Mather would have been up instantly as we go back to the front. Cade Kingsford, sorry for calling that one wrong, is in the lead of this one, and he has got so much pressure on the moment from the number 2 machine there of Parker Ross, who triples in, steps right over, gets himself into a good position. Look to the inside here. Not a good run though, Lee.
No, not a good run coming into the whoop. Slid a little bit sideways, but I like his thought process of trying to get to the inside there, because you're never going to pass someone by just following them through. But I like that nice little protected line there from Cade Kingsford up the inside. Where he needs to be careful is through that rhythm section is where Parker Ross is super fast. Unfortunately, he's got a little bit of time that he needs to make up. Have a look how much faster it is getting that rhythm through the whoop section.
So, ultimate position right now.
Look in the middle.
Kingsford.
Sorry for
still sitting there.
Done.
He is out for the night of this race. So he will score the least amount of points in this final. Unfortunate way to start his championship, defending the championship from last year. But it is tightening up front, Lee, between these two guys. Squaring it down was Ross, and he is going to open up an opportunity here soon. Lee, out of this corner, what do you think?
Yeah, just like that. Last lap board is out. It is do or die right now. We have got Parker Ross all over the back of Cade Kingsford, the young junior rider, ahead of the American superstar that's just come out of the Supercross Futures, trying to set up a passing move. Both riders staying low. Final turn, slips sideways. Parker Ross makes the pass, but Cade Kingsford has gone down in the process. It has unraveled for this young star on the Yamaha machine.
Believe that. How disappointing that is. What a fantastic ride we saw from Kingsford the entire race, but just didn't close down that gap at the very final turn. As we take a look at this championship final race, SX3, of course, Parker Ross, the winner, in front of Kobe Drew now. Kingsford is credited third, thankfully getting himself back up in front of Williams, Campbell, Lindsey Byrne, Olander, Rowe, and unfortunate Jack Mather will score the least points in this race.
He made it into the final, so will definitely score some points. Cooperot there in 9th place. So a little bit of a shuffle around there now, Dan.
Yes.
So we saw he was down on the ground.
Yep.
A little bit of a mix-up there. Cade Kingsford will finish back in 7th place. So Kobe Drew and Campbell Williams finding himself up in that last spot on the podium. But wow, what a race and what a last turn move. Amazing ride for the American rider. Okay, let's head down to Cam Williams, who is with our race winner.
Wow, Parker Ross. The very last turn, that last lap, looks like you were looking for it, but I guess you got to that last turn and realised you just had to make it happen.
Got it to an all right start, second, and then caught up with another kid over there. Unfortunately, made a mistake and hit him. I feel pretty bad about that, but that's racing, and we got it done last turn. Honestly, didn't even know it was last lap, but just knew I had to get it done, and we did it.
From the inside box, too, that probably wasn't the most ideal starting position, but still got it done.
Oh, it wasn't the best start out of me, but I knew I had to go inside to control the inside in this turn, so it was ideal.
Gentlemen, the future is bright for Parker Ross. We'll be right back here with the presentations in a flash.
Great job there from Parker Ross. And I'm going to say a couple of things come to mind first of all. It's one of the most exciting races I've ever seen. SX3, indoor Supercross. The other thing is how quickly a final is over. Now, I know there's good and bad with that. Bad in a sense that, when a race is that exciting, you want it to go for a little bit longer. But good in a sense that if you want to make it happen here in indoor Supercross, all of your points, all of your money that you make, it all happens in such a close-knit, small amount of time. It's so intense.
You need to be on your game from the moment that gate drops. If you have the slightest inkling of doubt in yourself, then you put yourself in a position where you're almost out of the picture. Unfortunate for Kingsford, man. He had everything dialed in. I feel so hard for him, but you and I have both been there. It is absolutely indoor racing.
All right, well, let's head down now to Cam Williams with the presentation.
What a fantastic and exciting evening racing so far. Campbell Williams in 3rd place, doing it for Empire Kawasaki. In 2nd place for YJR. Put your hands together for Kobe Drew. And your winner to this tonight, this one, the Polyfloor number 2 for HRC Honda. How about it for Parker Ross?
Well, an amazing
Gentlemen,
job
the first
there
one
for all 3 of these riders.
Really excited to see the rest of these finals, gentlemen. Back to you, Robert.
So fantastic to see the way this one all worked out. It was a great race, and it's just a sign of things to come in these next few finals as well.
So Parker Ross on board the Honda machine, taking the win. But the podium, they're just kids up there. They just how must you feel to be able to be up there in front of this crowd? What an amazing job.
Yeah, the excitement of it all. There is so much energy in this arena, and especially when you do get to that position where you are able to stand up there, get to acknowledge, have the crowd there cheering you on as we go back and have a look at this final in a replay, Lee. We'll get to see exactly where all of this started.
All right, drop at the gate, and what a start from Jack Mather with the number 1 machine. It was all looking good for him, but such a super aggressive move. And there it was, the mistake that put him on the ground. And not only did it put him on the ground, damage to the bike and a DNF.
So we always knew that Ross was coming up, but it almost seemed like Kingsford had just enough room, but it was right here. I was going to call it lead last corner. I didn't expect to see when they come around this next time around just how close it was going to become. They went through here. Watch for this cutback. Very nice move.
Oh, it was a beautiful setup. Slid his way down, and then the front wheel was taken out, and then unfortunately didn't quite have a hold of the clutch. Did take Kingsford. But Parker Ross coming up trumps here with a win at round 1 of the Fox Australian Supercross Championships here in Adelaide. An amazing job.
Fantastic to watch when we do get to see some exciting racing like this one as we just wait for our final riders there just to make their way back to the pits and have a look what's on the line next to Lee. This here is the cream of the crop of all the young kids for the CR22 85 Cup. And these were the fastest riders. A lot of them we haven't seen on screen yet in this telecast. And I can promise you there's some excitement out there. There's a lot of talent in these young riders.
Absolutely, Danny Ham. Now, our big hitters, our fast qualifiers, they did their qualifying earlier on in the day. So our top heat placings that made their way directly straight into the final, we're seeing some of the big names here. Lachlan Allen out of Queensland. Got himself a couple of national junior championships this year and also did us exceptionally proud in the World Junior Championships, just making it home within a couple of days to be able to make it up to Darwin to compete in the Aussie Juniors. So he is right at the top of the list there and was our fastest qualifier coming into the final tonight. Jack Nunn out of New South Wales, another huge name, Danny Ham. If you look further down the list, Cooper Ford, one of our KTM Factory Junior team riders, the list goes on.
Levi Townley, who we saw get that fantastic start from the very outside. Heath Davey is a guy that knows how to throw one of these little bikes around as well. Cooper Bowman was showing some speed as well earlier. So a lot of good riders out there. As we get set for these riders to go out for their sighting lap to see how the track has changed. Remember, a lot of these kids, especially the ones that qualified through directly from their heats, they last rode this track at around about 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's a long time since they've been on track, and they have to come out basically cold, get back into it, find that groove straight away.
You know, Danny, I don't know if I'm going to say the track is better or worse. I actually think it's a little bit better. If you remember back to how much the track had deteriorated throughout practice, certainly the takeoff ramp to the triple was well scalloped out through the middle. How's some young lad there just sending the triple on the side lap? That's brilliant.
Yeah, not afraid at all of these big jumps. Was that young rider as they work their way through. Yes, you're right, Lee, the track so much better. They actually saw the worst of the track earlier on today. It was very rutted up. The jumps, all the lines up the jumps were very rutted. They had these little kicks at the top of the jump. Some lines were absolutely flat. So they've experienced the worst of the track. Right now, these kids are going to be going, wow, this is pretty awesome at the moment. I can't wait to get this one underway.
Now, Danny, I just want to give a quick little shout out. On screen there was number 350, a local South Australian rider here who will surely be a crowd favourite here. And you and I, we were trying to debate how to pronounce his surname. I was saying Dylan Grombol. You were saying Dylan Grombol. And we are, look, it's out to the jury. Either way, I just want to bring to your attention, keep your eye on this kid because he was one of our fastest, I believe he was our second fastest qualifier in the heats coming through.
Yeah, he was quick as well. South Australian rider. So great to see that there is some local talent here. But it's good to see too, just looking down our list, Queensland, New South Wales, Tasmania, Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales. There's a lot of states that have driven a long way to get over here and be able to race this race. It just shows the excitement, the depth of talent, and what these kids want to do. They want to race Supercross.
And what I've been loving, every time we've seen these 85cc kids on the line, they've been doing fist pumps and like the camaraderie between them has been great. I think we've got some pretty big Jet Lawrence fans down there on the starting gate as well because there's a lot of head slapping going on with the helmets that I've been seeing, which is great. However, I think we've got a couple of riders that made their way into the final through the LCQ. Now I'm talking about Levi Townley, Heath Davey, probably a couple of others as well that we need to keep our eye on that could potentially either win or do exceptionally well here from coming through the LCQ.
There he is, 35. We mentioned him earlier, Lachlan Allen. He is one of the fastest guys on an 85cc. We saw that earlier on. So full of confidence when it comes to the jumping, as to his Jack Nunn, 29. 777 there, Osenkovic is right to the inside. So here's that gate number 1, and he is going to need to get himself a good jump out of that gate, try and command that first turn from the inside.
And just continuing on with Lachlan Allen, Danny, you'll recall a little bit earlier in the season when we were calling the action for the Pro MX Championship, we had a round where the 85s got to do their thing. And if you remember correctly, Lachlan Allen came out and stomped the field and absolutely dominated. It was a great day for him. So what a year 2023 has turned out to be for him. I know he's put in a lot of effort and a lot of training for his Supercross riding here. He is well and truly ready to hop up permanently on that 125 and almost start riding that 250. If you look at him, he's one of the bigger guys on the start line at the moment. 80, yeah. However, he is working it around that track, and he'll be trying to secure himself a Supercross championship here. And it all starts at round 1 here in Adelaide.
This is where it all starts, right there. The young kids getting to watch these other older kids out there getting the opportunity to race in front of a huge crowd that we see here in Adelaide. There it is. There's more of the fist bumps everywhere, going right through. So good to see all of these boys super excited. Yep.
That's awesome.
Well, the tension again is flying pretty high between all of them as they get set. Davey there, hyping himself up, wanting to get himself a good start from the outside as the 30-second board is now up, and we are only moments away from getting the final of this CR 2285cc Cup. 7 laps the race distance once again, very similar, or exactly the same actually as the race we just saw, and we mentioned it is over in a heartbeat, so you need to get yourself out to a good start.
Yeah, look, I know we don't have up on the screen, but I'm going to say keys to the race, Danny. Get a good start and don't crash in the first turn. Keep your eyes peeled for the drop of the gate. Who's going to jump out? Jack Nunn, it looked to be, got an awesome jump out of the gate.
Well, Allen's back there. Oh, wow. That was so close. You don't get any closer than that and have the riders ride away from that situation. So it is Nunn that has the lead straight out of the gate. Allen already to the inside, a very aggressive path, puts himself up into second place.
Well, I'm going to say that was an optical illusion coming out of the first turn, because I could have sworn that they were in the same path of each other, about to go down, but thankfully they weren't. Now what I want to see, Jack Nunn and Lachlan Allen, 2 of our big hitters. Who has the pace? This is only 7 laps of duration once again. It's going to be over so quickly. You do not have time to have a nap out there on the track.
That's the style from our race leader. See we hear the crowd just going a little bit crazy there. Something's happening in the background. I'm not sure of what that one is, but it's a good start for completely messed up with Jack Nunn. Oh, there it is. That is the rider that's gone down. Dave. No.
Number 17, that looks to be Connor Gillis out of Victoria, has gone down and does not look to be getting up in a hurry. So let's hope he's okay down there. Such a tough little kid, Connor. Our race leader continues to make his way around, and he's on lap 3 already. Now, this is something as you get towards the lap rider and the Red Cross flags are waving. Wheels are not supposed to come off the ground whatsoever. So what a fantastic and sportsmanlike job Jack Nunn was doing right there.
Lap 4 about to be complete for our race leader. He is doing well at the moment. Some clean laps will keep him up there, but I tell you what, it appears like Allen might have closed up just a little bit over that last lap.
Not enough. Not enough. If it continues like this, he needs to do more. Now, Danny, this is where your love for Supercross starts to develop. Put yourself in the position of someone like Jack Nunn. Now, I know you've been here before, but can you tell us, for a young kid in a stadium like this, on an 80 or an 85, under lights, fans up in the stand, making the kind of noise that they're making, is this where your addiction for Supercross starts?
100%. These kids here, every single person in the stands making noise and cheering for them. And once you've got that bug, it is so hard to shake. Even when you get old and retired like us, Lee, we still get that urge thinking it'd be nice to be back out there. Silly for us to even think it, but yeah, absolutely. This is where it all starts on the very final lap now.
1 lap to go for Jack Nunn. He has not put a foot wrong. It all started in the first 2 meters out of the gate. What a jump it was. He has not really allowed Lachlan Allen to cruise towards the back of him at all. He has been very sportsmanlike through the woods under the Red Cross flags, and it's all about Nunn as he takes the checkered flag and a fist pump. He is over the moon. What an amazing job for the 29 rider. Fantastic.
It shows the excitement right there, doesn't it, Lee? Shows all the effort that they put in. Now, I've seen a lot of these kids. They've done a lot of work leading into this race. As we take a look at this CR22 85 Cup final race of the night, the main event, Jack Nunn, Lachlan Allen, Dejan Sankovic, Cooper Ford, and then Cooper Bowman back there in fifth.
Yeah, great job for these riders. Richie Lawler, Dylan Grombel back there in 7th place. But it is all about the top 3, with Sankovic there back in 3rd place, Lachlan Allen there in 2nd, and Jack Nunn, our victor. What a faultless race was put together. It's like a veteran race.
That was perfect to watch. Made absolutely zero mistakes that entire race. Put himself in the perfect position going through turn number 1. And that jump out of the gate, that was all time.
That was fantastic. Thoughts definitely go out to Connor Galot there. Let's hope he is okay. Right, let's head down to Cam Williams, who is with our ecstatic winner, Jack Nunn.
Jack Nunn, man, what a great ride. How are you feeling after that?
Oh, I'm that pumped. I'm so stoked with myself, and, good job to the boys. We rode awesome today, so, yeah.
Really nice way to get it done, too, isn't it? Get the whole shot, get clean air, and just check out. That's the kind of win you want.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to focus on that start because the tracks are so hard to pass. And, just tried to ride defensive and just try and put a bit of a gap between me and Lockie.
The triple out of the corner here looked pretty tight once we had that rider down, but you guys didn't seem to have too much trouble sending it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shame that we couldn't, race the whole track. But, props to these boys. They rode well.
Fantastic, Jack Nunn. Gentlemen, he's the winner in race number. We'll be right back with presentations.
There we go. What an ecstatic kid we saw right there, and a well-deserved win.
Yeah, he is going to be looking forward to that next round coming up soon. And it's those riders that are so technically very skilled that we see really excelling in this kind of sport, this discipline of Supercross, especially when you get to an indoor circuit like this where precision is absolutely everything.
And Danny, you can't underestimate the arm wrestle between Jack Nunn and our 2nd place rider Lachlan Allen, because trust me, from the moment that they were 1st and 2nd place, which was literally out of turn 2, it was all about seeing if he could reel in that gap ever so slightly. All right, well, I think we should take a little bit of a look at the replay of that Chad Reed CR2285cc Cup and the drop of the gate. What a start it was up the inside from Jack Nunn.
His front wheel was barely off the ground, so close there between the 777 machine and Nunn. Sankovic and himself, it was so close, and lucky they didn't come together.
And it really was a good ride coming from behind for Lachlan Allen, because he was quite a ways back coming out of that first turn.
Over the triple and the rim ear to ear as he did that very final lap. I'm sure Nunn would have been feeling all the excitement of picking up the very first win, and we saw it right there as he came across the finish line. So pumped up with the position.
If only you could bottle that feeling that he just had right there. Just every now and then, just get to experience it. And look, and all three of them, so good. Amazing. All right, let's head down for the presentation with Cam Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 3rd place, put your hands together for DJ Sankovic. In 2nd place, pumping himself up on the start line and got the job done. Put your hands together for Lachlan Allen. And the very first winner of the CR2285 Cup, come on Adelaide, go mad for Jack Nunn! Gentlemen, what a moment for these kids. The one and only Chad Reed here to hand out the trophies. How exciting for these young men. Going to sneak in here. I'm just going to grab a quick word. DJ Sankovic, mate, you had the inside gate there and you've actually made that work. That's 2 races in a row. Maybe there's something in that inside gate.
Oh, yeah, well, I was, pretty... I wasn't getting the best jumps, so it worked out for me. Coming out of the gate, Jack definitely had a jump on me, so that inside worked out perfect for me.
And just being patient, riding your lines and staying smart in that one really got the job done for you, didn't it?
Yeah, well, whoever was behind me, I could definitely hear his bike, but, yeah, holding them lines and hitting them jumps. It was fun.
Fantastic. Congratulations, DJ. Well played, mate.
Thank you.
Going to sneak over here right now and have a quick word with Lachlan Allen. Lachlan, you're on the start line. You get super excited. You're bashing yourself and you're getting really excited. Really do get yourself into this, don't you?
Yeah, love to get myself pumped up before the race and, yeah, warmed up. So, yeah, just a routine that I do before each race.
Makes you feel comfortable too. I guess that routine, the repetition makes you feel comfortable every time you're on the line, right?
Yeah, sure does.
Fantastic, mate. Great ride. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, the future is bright here with the CR2285 Cup. Giddy up. Let's sneak over here one more. Sorry, Jack Nunn, mate.
Yeah, an amazing job there for all three up on the podium, and what an experience for them to go back. You know, that they're all going to school on Monday morning. You know, you take these trophies and do some show and tell. Maybe they're a little bit too old for show and tell, shall we say. However, you still get to hang out with your mates and just go, hey, I was up on the podium. Did you get to watch me on TV?
Yeah, did you see how good I rode? Yeah, we didn't have that back in the day, so I wouldn't know exactly that experience, but for sure, all of the buddies of all of these kids that are out there racing, they would have tuned in and watched them out on the track doing their thing as they really are taking in all of this celebration right now. And absolutely well done to all of them. Great to see, as we said, such a huge field of 85s turn up to do this race here, and I look forward to seeing them at the next couple of rounds as well.
Absolutely. We head next to Newcastle in New South Wales. I believe there's an ex-professional racer that lives in the Newcastle region, does a little bit of television hosting and commentary. And then we head to Melbourne for the final round. It's going to be
with that other guy as well. Well, we are getting set for the final of SX2. This one is absolutely stacked. Interesting.
Yes.
Anstey to the very inside, although I think Wilson Todd probably had a pick before him. Anstey, where does he go? Does he go to the inside, sneak around if he doesn't quite get the jump? Or does he go to the outside, potentially have that opportunity of being run wide?
Yeah, I think it's a confidence run to choose that number one. If you have another choice to be able to go, say 3 or 4 perhaps, and you go 1, you're confident in your start, that's for sure. So just relax, everybody. We haven't had a gate malfunction. This is a sight lap. The rider's out getting to check it out. Now, Danny, it's interesting to see. I know we've got such a short lap time here, but it's interesting that some riders will get out and have a little bit of a close look, an assessment of the track, and use this assessment or use this sight lap to do that. Others will just go out and get into the zone, like we see some of these riders at the head of the pack at the moment. What was your mindset, or how did you attack the first lap to be able to go around before you line back up again?
Yeah, I was that guy that took his time, had a look around, because I figured I wasn't getting started. I needed to have some extra lines up my sleeve to see what I could do on that opening lap. But you're right, some riders will just absolutely want to get out there and get into it straight away, get that race pace going straight off. Other riders definitely take their time, look around and keep those options open. Yourself, Lee, which way did you lean on that one?
Yeah, I was one that liked to go out nearly last, and I didn't really need too much time to get ready once I got back to the start, so I like to just get into the headspace and ready to go. And I would take my time around, and I would pick whichever part of the track it was. It might have been the whoop section that might have broken right down, and I was trying to assess a couple of different lines, or it might have been a corner, an inside rut that you were trying to suss out. I would definitely try to do that 90% of the time.
And if you're first back to the gate, then you've got to wait for everyone else to get back there before you get this one underway, and things start to come into the mind, how you're going to get out. You allow that the nerves to get to you a little bit more if you're that kind of rider. So we see here the mechanics just trying to clean any of that loose dirt, any of the dust off the tyres. Yes, these steel grates that sit underneath these bikes do offer a lot of traction, immense amounts of traction. However, as you can see right there, they have now filled up with a lot of dirt and lead, and that is now seeing a lot of wheel spin as well. So back to trying to do whatever they can to find that traction to get themselves out to a great start.
Exactly, and you've got to remember, this is the final. It's a minimal risk that you're going to get wheel spin on one of these grates. But why risk it? You're going to try every single thing that you possibly can. If it means wiping a little bit of dust off your tyres, then why not do it?
All the riders still
waiting for that board to go up. I saw the official giving them 2 minutes just a moment ago, so plenty more time to start thinking about it. Interestingly, every one of them has got their goggles on already, and you can see them up there playing with it after, these guys have been out the back. They've warmed themselves up. They've been doing star jumps, runs on the spot, on the spin bike, whatever it is, to get the blood flowing. And when you're just sitting there on a hot bike on the start line, it did heat up before they got back to here. You're sitting on a hot bike, you've got the goggles on there, you get very stuffy underneath those goggles. You start to get a lot of heat in there, you start to sweat. I would leave my goggles off to the very end. You can see there, retailer, just a little bit of a flick, trying to get a little bit of air into the goggles just there, just to cool himself down a little bit, not let them fog up as well.
Well, it looks like the riders have been given the wind-up now, and the mechanics have been sent off the back. The mechanics will try to hang and stay as long as they can till the very, very last moment, just in case something goes wrong. And, of course, they've been pushed away, get back, it is go time. So we're only moments away from seeing that 30-second board popped up from our start girl down there, Maddie Healy, doing a great job tonight. We see Ryder Kingsford there, who's been getting some good starts so far tonight. He has a very good chance of jumping out of the gate. But I tell you, the two Hondas on the far inside of Max Anstey and Wilson Todd, you're going to have to get out pretty damn fast if you're going to beat those two to that first turn.
They are exceptional starters, so you're going to be needing a good one to do that. The board goes sideways. We are on our second last final of the night, the FX2 class. Who is going to get the first turn first?
Max Anstey with a hole shot up the inside, and it's Anstey from Wilson Todd, but then also Waitsman.
Where did Waitsman come from? Because he certainly wasn't into the turn first. However, through to second place early in this one. One thing we haven't mentioned, 15 laps is the race distance. So these will definitely test them. And we've mentioned before how intense these races are. You need to somehow find a rhythm and not get too hyped up. Get that relaxation going to get through 15 laps nice and clean.
It is dangerous to let Max Anstey get out with a lead like this, but it all started from backing himself in with that grid number one and jumping out good. He got such a good jump out of the gate.
There is Anstey. We look to the background to see where the rest of the riders coming through are. Got a rider going down the start straight there, and that was an interesting position. I think one of our cameramen almost got cleared out. There is Anstey absolutely pulling away, so we'll try and pick up in the background there who is in second and third. Looks like Waitsman on our timing is there in second place. Retailer was there, but looking at the scoreboard on the left, he has dropped back to sixth. So don't know what happened there. There is Nathan.
Okay, so Crawford has had some kind of drama. Absolutely. We don't know what has happened. We don't know if he's gone down. He already was in third last position. So he's had some kind of altercation, whether that was by himself or with another rider. But he is actually not too far away from being put a lap down, I believe.
Yeah, Anstey will be the rider that sees him next. Anstey absolutely flying away. Yeah, that's where the incident happened.
Yeah, we can see those Honda Tough Blocks being brought back off the track. So you would have to think that that was the culprit. Whatever has happened to Nathan Crawford, who finds himself in 10th place, unfortunately. Robert Blakes and the American back there in second place.
Continues to stretch this one out. Let's call it Glenn away from there on the right screen. There he goes, jumping in the shot. I'll tell you what, he is not that far off Anstey. If anything, might have caught up just a little bit. That last lap, though, Anstey ends the call.
Yeah, he sure did. There's only 0.1 of a second between them for the last lap. There's not much that separates you on a track like this. We are already lap 6 of 15, so another lap and a half. We are halfway through this race.
There is second, third in the background as well. That is Wilson Todd, not too far back, but certainly not close enough to mount any kind of challenge at the moment to our race leader in second place. Good position to start out your championship in third, but this guy here is in the ultimate spot at the moment. May not win this race, however, he is
so the last lap is 22.5 and a 22.5 between the first two. Now this lap 22.6 to a 22.7. So they're basically mirroring each other's lap time, the completely opposite way of going through the woods. We've got Max Anstey getting up and skimming across the top and doing a great job, and Wageman and also Wilson Todd electing to rhythm their way through.
Great battle going on right here. Fantastic pick-up by that crew. We see that Cole Thompson, who was so good last year, is there. Oh, so big a whip. In fourth place, Atkinson. What a fantastic ride for him at the moment. Sits there in fifth place. He's right there in front of Cosman, and then behind them is Kingsford. So good little battle between these four riders.
And just like that, we are at lap 10. There is less than 5 laps to go. Max Anstey continues to lead the last lap. Both our first and second place riders to the 22.8. There is nothing separating these two.
Kingsford off the side, ripping a tough block apart, throwing it into the wall as he tries anything he can to get close enough to make that pass up one more place. As we go back to our race leader, the number 1 machine on the Honda, absolutely stretching it away.
And that last lap, Danny, that was not what Robert Wageman wanted. It was nearly a full second gap. Anstey with a 22.3, a consistent lap and a 23-second lap time for Robert Wageman. It is looking amazing for our race leader at the moment as he is on lap 12. As we see lap 13 now complete with 2 laps to go for the Honda rider. And another 22 lap time. He is relentless, Danny.
Yeah, this is exactly what we say when you have a championship rider, a rider of this caliber come over. You do not let them have that kind of space early on. It's closed up a little bit there between second and third, but not enough at the moment.
1 lap to go, Danny Ham, our reigning Fox Australian Supercross champion in the SX2 class from 2022. He has started the season the way he finished last year. The guy from the UK, number 1 with the red background, is about to take the checkered flag. One more turn and lights the candles here in Adelaide. What a win for the number 1 plated Max Anstey. That is how you do it.
Wageman did follow our leader through in second place, and Wilson Todd will round out our podium as we take a look now at the final results of these. We've been through the top 3. We'll go from 4 onwards. Cole Thompson, Cosford eventually managed to get his way around Liam Atkinson, who's had a fantastic ride. Right at Kingsford, Noah Ferguson, Nathan Crawford after that small crash, and Reed Taylor, unfortunately, all the way back to the back of the field.
What a main event we have just seen in the SX2 category. We could tick off SX3 and SX2 and both exciting races, but it is all about the Honda HRC rider of Max Anstey.
You cannot let Anstey do that if you want to challenge for this championship. It is a short championship, 2 more rounds. There's a few more point scoring races to go in this one, but when you can open up your account here in the 2023 Fox Australian Supercross Championship just like that, man, it is going to be hard to stop him going through the rest of this.
Maximum points for Max Anstey. Robert Wageman back there in second place. Now, as we take a little bit of a look further back, Cole Thompson, our second place rider from the championship last year, still pretty good points there in fourth place. Very impressed with Jace Cosford there with the top 5.
One of the big things out of indoors, Lee, and you know just as well as I do, you can't win the championship from here. You certainly can lose the championship on a night like this. So 4th, 5th, they're still good points and will absolutely help into the championship. Let's head down, though, to our winner with Cam.
Max Anstey, what a ride, mate. You got the froth hole shot to start it. Every post from there was a winner. You're just clicking off laps.
Yeah, man, that first turn was hairy. I was bumping and banging in there. You know, I've been working on it. It's you know, Adelaide surprised me last year, and this year it surprised me with how tight and intense this track is. I've had a great season, and honestly, I'm just happy to be here for Yariv and my guys at the Boost Mobile Honda Australia team. And, you know, let's keep this thing going. I got the number 1 plate. I'm pretty pumped on that. It's the first time I've ever ran that. So a few more weeks and then we come back to Newcastle.
Super exciting for you to get this one done, isn't it? Do you feel the pressure of having that number 1 plate?
Yeah, a little bit. And Danger Boy Deegan's mechanic was in here, and I had a few good battles with him. So I got to show him what's up for next year when we go and race in the US. But yeah, this type of thing, tight, intense racing is something that I wanted to work on. Being a little bit more aggressive, and I'm happy with where we ended up.
Max Anstey, winner of SX1, round number 1. Congratulations.
Cheers, guys.
Gentlemen, SX2 winner, Max Anstey, great job.
Yeah, great pickup back there in the SX2 from Ken Williams. But you're absolutely right. Fantastic effort to open up this one the way he did. And he was flawless from the time that gate dropped all the way to the checkered flag.
He was in the right headspace. He was ready to go from the moment the gate dropped. Awesome start into that first turn, and it was see you later from there. Let's take a look at the replay of the SX2 finals.
All the way into the corner. Almost looks like they're going to dive to the inside, but not quite close enough. But look how tight it was in the back. Once you're battling it out, look there in third place. Oh, that was Reed Taylor. Didn't even make it over the finish line up ramp. So that's how much they came together. That's what put him back so far.
Have a look, skimming across the top of the whoops there. Max Anstey, and off the side of the track there, Jace Cosford.
Anstey, though, unchallenged in this race. No mistakes. The absolute ideal race for this guy to go out and execute the way he did into the final turn. First to greet the checkered flag, and a great way to start this championship.
He's got to be stoked. He's done so much winning over the last year and a half that, do you think, is he starting to get a little bit used to this?
Yeah, it only takes one to get that ball rolling, and obviously we've seen it more and more, and exactly what we're seeing here tonight. Let's head back down to the podium.
Here we are at the podium, ladies and gentlemen. In third place, doing it for Terra Firma Equipment Sales, the number 20, put your hands together for Wilson Todd. In second place, doing it for WBR Bulk Nutrient, makes a bunch of noise for Robbie Wageman. And your winner overall, doing it for the Boost Mobile HRC Honda team, make a big pile of noise for Max Anstey. Just going to sneak in here now, Wilson Todd. Great way to start the season, third place.
Yeah, can't complain too much. Got a decent start, and just that's about all I could do. I think I just rode around without launching myself into the grandstand. I think I did a pretty good job.
Smart way to get it done. You're not too far away from Max, and there's another 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, that's it. We'll go and give it another go in Newcastle.
Thank you, Wilson. I'm going to sneak over here and grab WR Bulk Nutrients. Robbie Wageman, welcome to Australia, and you got yourself a nice trophy for your very first race here. Pretty damn cool, huh?
Yeah, this is awesome. Just can't thank the whole WBR Bulk Nutrients team, the Witten family, Riley, Jack over there for all the hard work they've been doing and giving me this opportunity to come over here, and I'm glad I can stand on the podium for them.
Really nice way, bit of a summer holiday for you as well. Come over here to Australia, win a bit, make a few bucks, have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is an awesome experience. I've always wanted to come over here and race, so super pumped to be on the podium for my first race here, and looking to keep it going.
Super excited. Congratulations, Robbie Wageman. There is your podium for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Third place doing it for Terra Firma Equipment Sales. Wilson Todd in second for the WBR Yamaha team, Robbie Wageman. And your winner overall for the Boost Mobile HRC machine. Put your hands together one more time for Max Anstey.
Well, what a final we've seen just there for the SX2 class. As we see the champagne about to be sprayed. Well, we'll just see if we're going back down there or not, but maybe we're not. What a fantastic race, Lee, that one was.
It was a spectacular race there, absolutely, Danny. But we're going down to the champagne. It is getting sprayed everywhere. And it's a good moment. It's always a good moment when you get to crack the bottle of champagne and start spraying it everywhere, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't done it that much, Lee. I tried many times, but yeah, no, not too often, mate.
Come on, we've been up on the podium a few times, Sammy. You're talking yourself down. Let's not do that. What an awesome job and have a look. There is no tears in Uriev's eyes at the moment. We've still got one more race to go, and he will be absolutely ecstatic at the moment, because so far they've got a lockout with SX3 win, SX2 win, but this is the big one. This is the one that he really wants. Now, we have got many, many big stars down there on the starting line at the moment.
It's going to be a big one. Kyle Webster right there, the 96 machine. We saw a great start out of him the last time around, but it will be the number one Brayton that everyone will be focusing on, trying to make sure that they can either keep them behind him and be able to handle the pressure that will come with Brayton behind them, or they'll be trying to chase him down because he is such a fantastic starter as well, Lee.
Now, one of the biggest issues here, and I say this because being back in our day when there were 8 spots on the grid, I knew that this was the case as well. But you put 2 more on the grid, a total of 10 riders, and when you have a 20-lap final, one of the toughest parts is when it comes time to be lapping riders, you need to make sure that you don't accidentally come unstuck somewhere. You know, collect another rider or someone goes down in front of you, because it tends to happen pretty quickly. It's so intense out there.
You come up onto those riders very fast indeed, and it does not take much to go down, and even, you know, not your fault either. It's just something that happens out of nowhere. So these guys, for 20 laps, yes, it's a short lap time, it's a short race, but the intensity of this for 20 laps, it feels so much longer, in your mind can easily start to want to drift away from the job at hand.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype and the intensity of an indoor supercross and how everything just seems so close. The heart rate's up a little bit higher. For these guys right now, adrenaline is pumping through their veins and they're ready to go. But still, you have to keep your head in the right headspace, and you have to remember you've got certain boxes that you need to tick. Just like any other race, you need to get a good start and jump out of the gate well. You need to control the first turn. There's no use in doing what we've seen many, many times tonight and getting a clear hole shot, but getting punted on the exit of the first turn. You need to put all of that hard work from a good start into that first turn, and just remember the hole shot line is in the exit of the first turn. If you can somehow exit, if not in first place, then in a very good position, and string together a handful of good laps and get into a rhythm and try to keep in that rhythm.
It's a bit of a catch-22 off the start, isn't it, Lee? Do you dive it in deep enough to ensure that you get to the first turn first, or do you back it down and run the risk of maybe someone from the outside getting there first, but you have the inside to duck around and make sure that you come out of the first turn first?
It's all got to do with track position, and every single time you enter the first turn, you're going to be in a slightly different position to every other time you've done it. No two will ever be exactly the same. I think one of the hardest things sometimes is when you're coming in with a clear hole shot and you don't know who's going to dive under and try to park you in the first turn. But can you remember some of those good times where you've come in and you know you're in second and a gap opens up for you just as you're getting into the first turn, and you just like pounce and make it happen?
And it doesn't even have to be in second. You could be in fourth,
fifth
place. If you're there, you've got that opportunity. You've just got to pounce, like you said. If that means you've got to hit someone to get the job done, then well, so be it. It is indoor racing.
The rules slightly change in indoors, don't they? As to what is aggressive or rude or, you know, like blatantly illegal. Like the goalpost shift when you come indoors.
Yeah, all of those terminologies turn into necessary.
It's not like I probably should do that. I have to do that. If I want to be somewhere up near the pointy end of the field, you almost have to put your boxing gloves on. No, we don't want anyone punching on out there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what. Well, our riders are on track for their final time tonight. They're sighting lap to see what is broken down, if there's any ruts developing. And it doesn't take too much of a run, especially across that start line there. The run itself could be 10 centimetres deep, even less, but it's something that wheels can hook up onto and allow them to continue to carry that was meant to through that corner just a little bit more and increase that speed, that lap time, and close down, especially on another rider if you're behind them. And we saw earlier on with the SX3 trying to open up those passing opportunities by squaring up a lot.
Now we can see here, Danny, sorry to cut you off there, the effort of Luke Clout trying to get that start button in with two mechanics pulling down on the handlebars and that back wheel just coming straight off the ground. That's the forces that have to go in, and still we see no fork button has gone in for Luke Clout as of yet. So they've got to do something to try to get that in. Now that's a couple of things to point out. First of all, that's how far down the forks are going. Second of all, that's the stiffness in the Supercross forks. The valving and the spring rates are so firm with these bikes, and that's what we're seeing here. And they've got their hands full. There it is. It's in. Yeah, that was great footage that captured from our cameraman.
Yeah, so it's a great example of how hard it is just to get them down. And it shows you how much pressure is on that button. To your point before of where it didn't unlock itself, simply because the forks are compressed so hard already, it had no opportunity to just go down that slight bit more and release itself. So very difficult to get them down.
Right, well, let's take a little bit of a look at our start list here for the final. SX1 final 20 laps, the duration. And just to point out, with lap times around that 22 seconds, we're going to be well under the 8-minute mark, possibly towards 6.5-ish minutes, I'm going to predict, for a final, maybe 7 minutes, Danny. But our start list, Dean Wilson, number 15, out of Scotland, on board the Honda machine. Justin Brayton carrying the big number 1 plate on the Honda out of the USA. Aaron Tanti on board the CDR Yamaha Monster Energy machine. Josh Hill also on board the CDR Monster Energy Yamaha out of America.
Just wanted to touch on the shortness of the race just a little bit more, Lee. Yes, 6 minutes doesn't sound like much. 7 minutes doesn't sound like much. These riders, when they do this race, though, their heart rate is maximum. It is absolutely as high as you can get it. That's the intensity that comes. Think about going for a sprint, if you can run anymore. I can't. But trying to sprint, and I mean sprint, at full pace for 6 or 7 minutes. That's the effort that goes into these short indoor races.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. I guess just to elaborate on that, these riders and how hard they train, their intensity has to slightly alter depending on how long they go for. So, for example, this one, they will go flat out as hard as they can for 6.5 minutes, for example. But if it had to be 10 minutes, they wouldn't make it that long if they went this hard, right? And yet, every single one of these riders, well, let's say 99% of these riders, probably do the other form or other element of our sport, not Supercross, but outdoor motocross, where they do 35 minutes plus a lap. And it all just takes a different amount of intensity and a different type of fitness
to get through to the checkered flag at the end. So, although it's a short race, it certainly works these riders to their absolute maximum, as we see Hill lining himself up for the final time tonight. He sits alongside Webster right there on the 96 machine. Moss was right next to them. Richardson is also in there. 32nd board is up, Lee. Who do you see coming out of that first turn first?
I'm gonna go, I think, Matt Moss, from not the best of starting positions. When he's on with his starts, he is on. It's going to be hard to beat those grid 1 and 2. But let's watch SX1 final 20 laps. Let's go.
Wow, you're right on the money there, Lee Hogan. Matt Moss comes away with that absolute clean hole shot. Sits there in front of Dean Wilson. Brayton back there in third place. This is a beautiful setup for this final race of the night.
Wow, what a start. I thought he would get a good start, but I wasn't quite sure it would be that good. He has got Dean Wilson all over the back of him and Justin Brayton. So the three big hitters, along with also Josh Hill, another one of the big hitters, up there in the top 4. And then back to Aaron Tanti, likewise. Big names up there.
So watch now for Brayton and how he approaches the rest of this race. Dean Wilson wasting no time at all, looking to get his pass made as quickly as he can, because he knows that big red number 1 sits just behind him. He needs to try and again to the inside. Aggressive pass, possible. Not quite.
Okay, so now what we need to watch closely is an open jump from Moss. Can he control that position? Pass looks to be made by Dean Wilson. Now I think a couple of mistakes from Matt Moss there. He's going to try to sit back and settle and see if he can remount another challenge. He's going to have company very, very quickly.
When you make a mistake like that, there's this intensity. You can very quickly pump up. And right now, Moss knows that he just needs to try and find that groove, find that flow. Outside line there, opens himself up here for Brayton to go to the inside and duck underneath. Not quite close enough this time around. Hill also lurking around there in the background.
He needs to be careful that he doesn't allow John Hill to catch up and turn that into a battle. Now, this is some fine form that we're seeing from Dean Wilson. 20 laps in duration. We're only 5 in. 15 laps to go.
Through the left hand, and now Brayton is right on the back wheel of Moss. Moss seems to have settled down after that. It was a weird double mistake by all those two riders up the front. Brayton almost took advantage of it and jumped right onto the back wheel. Hill mirroring everything Brayton is doing right now. Just changed his jumping through the woods to doing a quad through there like Brayton is, just trying to keep that pace right.
And the last lap down to 22.5 for both Dean Wilson and Matt Moss. But Justin Brayton, 22.4. Now, it was 0.1 of a second. But 0.1 makes big differences. What have we got going on here? Who has gone down in a big way? So we have red cross flag drawing that Bailey Melkowitz there. He's shaking his head. Something is happening. And that was close to a pass being made from Justin Brayton.
So red and white cross flags come out. That would be because of Melkowitz down. There's that quad I told you about through the woods. That would be because Melkowitz was down on the down red. It wasn't the fact that he needed a red cross medical attention simply as a safety precaution. However, Moss didn't see it to the very last minute. He actually didn't roll. However, he did pull out. I don't think officials would do anything on that. He did certainly look for that and try and change the jump through there.
It certainly wasn't on purpose. I think he might have come off actually worse time-wise than landing on the face of the second one. But either way, all 4 of these riders are staying in tow as we approach the half-race distance, lap 9. When they come around next time, half-race distance. Anything can still happen, and it won't be too long until these guys will start to come across lap riders.
We're starting to get to it right now. We've seen Dean Wilson up over the triple behind. Melkowitz blue flag waving, letting Melkowitz know the leaders are coming through, not forgetting the road, which he's starting to stay nice and high here. But that is still puts pressure on Moss. Moss
has closed up. Yes, Moss has rebounded here, and he is charging. Now, does he have a little bit more in the tank?
I like that inside line there. Inside all of those rough ruts. Lee, he is putting a charge on right now. Mistake, though. That's going to cost him.
Yeah, and unable to do the second from this. To go the outside and not be able to do that, that's dropped him back almost into the clutches of Brayton, doing that quad that you were talking about in the middle there. So let's see how these next couple of laps go down.
Brayton just picked up on that very inside line as well. So they're looking around, trying to find something new. And that has allowed Wilson to again open up that small lead. It is only 1.2 seconds. It can change in a heartbeat, but if he has a clean race to the finish from here, it's going to be very hard to close that down.
Still as they cross the checkered flag or the finish line jump now through lap 13. Still 7 laps to go. Now, Dean Wilson has consolidated that lead a little bit. I like the inside line there from Matt Moss and Justin Brayton. They seem to catch up just a little bit. Not the best of runs into the woods there from Matt, but he has closed up a little bit again.
Yeah, again. So it's the mental game at the moment. Moss has made those small mistakes. However, he has seen himself close that gap down. And sometimes that's all you need. If you can see that you're closing that gap down, all of a sudden, riding becomes just a little bit easier. If they're creeping away from you, your ride seems so much more difficult.
Right, so one more lap, and we will only have 5 laps to go as we give a little bit of a rundown. Dean Wilson leading obviously back to Matt Moss in second place from Brayton, Josh Hill, Luke Clout and Aaron Tanti back there in 6th place. Cole Webster's made his way up from dead last in 10th to 7th place. and not a bad job from the privateer Luke Zielinski and also Jackson Richardson. A fantastic job just to make it into the main event.
Last turn, up and over, 4 to go now for our leaders. Moss is still pretty comfortable. Was he able to triple into it that time around with the left rider? He is still within tow. Still within reach. So any kind of mistakes from Dean Wilson at this point of the race will allow Moss to jump up there and close down that gap.
Lap 17 and the laps are ticking down. It's only going to be a minute or so. We're going to have ourselves approaching the checkered flag with the last lap board. Through the woods one more time. Nice rhythm techniques for Dean Wilson. It is all about the Boost Mobile Honda HRC rider at the moment. Cole Webster then put a lap down from Wilson.
So I think they have dropped right due to a left rider. That has opened up quite substantially. But Wilson, this time around, correct me if I'm wrong, the intensity looks like it just stepped up.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to muscle this a little bit, and Matt Moss has dropped down into the 23. Likewise for Justin Brayton. 1 lap to go, Danny Ham.
1 lap to go. We just heard the crowd go crazy, so we're going to keep an eye on this.
So our timing is showing us Brayton in 2nd place and Matt Moss back in 3rd.
So something has happened there on that last lap. Look at the lead that Wilson has right now. Up and over the finish line towards the checkered flag. He will come around and take the first win of the 2023 championship with, again, the biggest one-legger we've seen.
The signature Dean Wilson move comes out with the one-legger and the win for round 1 of the Fox Australian Supercross Championship here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. What a return to form for Dean Wilson. And off camera, Justin Brayton has made a late race pass and made his way up into 2nd place. Now, was that from a passing move or a mistake from Matt Moss? We'll wait to try to find out. Matt Moss finds himself still up on the podium. A great job for these three who put on a fantastic show tonight. Let's take a look at our results. Dean Wilson from Justin Brayton, Matt Moss, Josh Hill, Luke Clout rounding out the top 5.
Tanti, Webster, Zielinski, Richardson and Malkowitz are the rest of the field. And I did see Webster actually go down on lap number 1, absolutely over the top of the berm. I don't know if he got some help in that one, but unfortunate for him. So he's back there in 7th place. But what a way to start this championship season here for the Fox Australian Supercross Championship, round 1, Adelaide Indoor. Great racing, Dean Wilson. I don't know if we expected that he would be on top. We knew he would be fast. We knew he would be a challenge. But after we watched him in the qualifying and how comfortable he looked, he certainly was on our radar to look to get this win tonight.
I think it was lap 2 or 3 from practice where you and I were looking and I said, he's on a flyer. And he come up and he got basically one of the fastest lap times right from the get-go, and he looked like he did it pretty easy. And ever since then, every single time he's been on the track today, he's looked in fine form.
So smooth was the Honda rider of Wilson, as we see them just getting themselves ready for the podium, which we'll get down to very, very soon. A great night of racing here in Adelaide. The fans have been really treated to some excitement and the return into the indoor arena.
Yes, an amazing job there and 20 laps of action. So I believe it is time now to head down to Dean Wilson, who is with Cam Williams. What do you got for us, Cam?
Matt Moss, 3rd place in that one, mate. Had a great start. Just that little tip over towards the end probably cost you 2nd.
Yeah, I sort of nearly let Dean by, and I thought I was sitting behind him, and I actually started feeling really good, and a couple of lappers got my way, and it got a little gap, and then, yeah, just silly mistakes that, like, through the night that normally is not me. But new bike, man. I've been on this thing for 2-3 weeks now, so, mate, this championship's going to go down the wire because I'm sick of these Yanks coming to beat us, hey? It's a joke. They pay them a fortune to come out and beat us, and we're just going to get a bowling, go give them all, mate. I just like to thank the whole Empire team, Send It, Pirelli, Pride 23, Energy Logistics, my mechanic Jed, and man, everyone that's involved in this, my beautiful wife, my beautiful kids, and Man, I'm sick of this. You wait, I've got 4 weeks to train my butt off, and I am going to come out swinging.
Congratulations, Matt Moss, third place.
Thank you.
I'm going to sneak over here, just going to sneak past Dean Wilson, Justin Brayton. Second place, as that one turned out, that's a championship ride, isn't it? Just being smart and getting this one done.
Yeah, we definitely needed to get out of here with a podium. Yeah, unfortunately, the race was the first 100 feet, and that was honestly it. And couldn't do much from there, but excited to get, some points on the board and, yeah, hit it hard these next few weeks and settle into Australia time. And, yeah, I'm excited about it.
In terms of his championship, you know what you're up against, don't you? You've seen the best that you've got to offer, and now you've got 4 weeks to get to work and go get to work on those little things that you think you may need to tidy up.
Yeah, for sure. I hadn't raced in a long time. Kind of was semi-retired, and so yeah, to get this one under the belt in a tight confines like this is nice. But I'm never happy with second, to be honest. So no matter if it is tight or big wide open track, whatever. So. Yeah, all good. Happy for my teammate, to go 1-2. That's really cool for Honda and everybody. So, but yeah, back to work and try to keep this #1 plate this year.
Congratulations, Justin Brayton, second place.
Thank you.
Going to sneak over here now to Mr. Dean Wilson. Dino, got the pass on Mossy early and just checked out, man. You got to be pumped on that result.
I am. I'm having a lot of fun, and when I'm having a lot of fun, I'm enjoying myself. Usually, it's a good Dino that shows up to the race. So. Love coming to Australia. They just treat me like one of their own, and I'm just having a lot of fun and enjoying riding the bike. And yeah, this is really tight, but I managed to make it happen all day, so I'm pumped. And really want to thank the Honda Australia, Froth, Rockstar Energy, Yariv, oh man, everybody, Fly Racing. I'm pumped. I'm having a lot of fun.
It must be nice for you as well, having your family out here, getting to go racing. Now you've got 4 weeks to kind of relax, catch a bit of breath, and then keep the work up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm having fun, and I'm in a good place right now. And listen, I haven't won a race in so long. Like, I battle my butt off every weekend in the States and just always get my butt kicked. So to win a race feels good. I work hard for this, and, it feels good. And I want to give a little thank you to my buddy Eris. He's let me come out to his place and ride his track. A little hello to my mom and dad watching at home, and all the boys.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. One very, very happy Dean Wilson.
Great night of racing. Congratulations, Dean Wilson. Well deserved. A flawless race in that final there. Made the pass nice and early, and we're going to have a look at that exactly right now with these highlights. Great start out. A little bit of a wheelie, though, but managed to turn down there in second place, but wasted no time getting himself into the lead and putting himself in a position where he can control that gap and that pressure that we saw from Matt Moss just behind him. Moss there absolutely backing out of that, so I feel nothing wrong with that one at all. But it was Moss, though, and Brayton that would have to fight this one out towards the end.
Yeah, it was a real seesawing battle between these two riders, and at one stage, just before the halfway mark, it looked like Matt Moss was putting on a real hard charge. It was just a little mistake in that corner there that cost him and any late race charge. But it was all about Dean Wilson, the Boost Mobile Honda rider, coming up trumps here at the first round of the Fox Australian Supercross Championship.
So great to witness this race, the win here from Dean Wilson. Fantastic efforts.
Well, I think as far as wins go, I think the Adelaide crowd gets themselves a good win tonight. What an amazing atmosphere we have seen here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre.
Crowd truly got into the racing tonight. We got a chance to walk around the crowd and talk to a few of them, and they were absolutely pumped to see the sport of Supercross back in the indoors here, where they've, over so many years, seen so much of this racing.
And what do you think was possibly the trickiest of parts of the track, Danny?
I think the whoops were a big part of it tonight, but also the first turn through that combo section there. You really had to make sure that you got that right every single lap, as we saw there in the end with Matt Moss. If he didn't maybe make those mistakes, we might have seen a different result come the end of that race.
I think so. Now, if we just a little bit of a recap on the night, we had SX3, SX2, SX1. Of course, we had the Chad Reed CR2285 Cup. What were your major highlights? What are you going to take away from this weekend?
Part of the highlights for me certainly is the 85s. I am so stoked to see that they are back out there, and we got to experience some of the talent that we have been missing for so long in Australia with Supercross, and just to watch them now over the next coming years, because this will continue to steamroll, and the growth of these kids is going to be something so exciting to watch.
Now this, of course, round one of the Fox Australian Supercross Championships, an indoor venue. Next we head to Newcastle, then we go to Melbourne, a 3-round series. We talk about that SX1 category, and we saw Dean Wilson and Justin Brayton first and second. Matt Moss in there as well. We got 2 more rounds. How do you think that could play out, bearing in mind the tracks that we have coming and the venues?
So Brayton's going to be strong. We know that. Brayton is going to be strong. He's going to be difficult to beat. Wilson is going to be strong. But then you see the likes of Moss that we saw tonight, exactly what we wanted to see, a bit of a challenge, and exactly how it turned out. I think there is still a few riders that haven't shown their face, and they will certainly show it before this championship is done.
Well, I tell you what, Danny Ham, I have had an absolute blast. But you know what? It's time now to throw down to our third commentary member, Cam Williams, who's with Chad Reed. We're going to hear their thoughts on the night.
Gentlemen, what a night's racing here, Chad. You've got to be pretty excited with that, haven't you?
Oh, it was awesome just to see the boys going at it. Mossy getting the whole shot, which then I think just kind of elbows out, everybody racing, and I enjoyed it. I got dizzy there, you know, like you forget how small it is in here, and just watching, and I was a little jealous.
And in terms of you, the CR2285 Cup, great initiative, and we sort of waxed on a bit before, but really nice to bring those kids in and give them this experience, isn't it?
Yeah, every one of the kids that I asked if they would join it, you know, just immediately their big smile. They didn't even have to answer it. And so for me, that makes me so proud, and a really successful weekend.
4 weeks, Newcastle, Tate's coming. That's some pretty exciting stuff, huh?
Yeah. He's got work to do, and he's been at home all week with Mama Bear. Mama Bear's been training him, and so I think the biggest thing is just come out, be safe, learn a lot, and then try to be a little better in Melbourne.
Fantastic. Chad, it's great to have you here in Adelaide. Gentlemen, it's been an amazing night's racing. Back to you. We're so stoked on this one.
Thanks so much, Cam, and also Chad Reed. Well, Adelaide, you've been very kind to us. Thank you so much for hosting round one of the Fox Australian Supercross Championship. On behalf of myself, Lee Hogan, Danny Ham, Cam Williams and Chad Reed, thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in for round 2 at Newcastle, New South Wales. Goodbye for now.